water and get going.
So you're on the East Coast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Was the Poland Spring a tell? Did they not have that on the West Coast?
No.
Really? Oh,
Wow,
I thought it was universal.
that's crazy.
I don't think so.
In this
I
East
don't know.
Coast bubble,
I also don't live in the U.S., so I live where Kirsten lives. So yeah.
Gotcha.
That could be part of
All right, here we go. Hey, Upper East Siders, and welcome back to another episode of the Lonely Boys podcast. My name is Matt. I'm one of your titular Lonely Boys, and I'm here to break down Season 5, Episode 21 of Gossip Girl, Despicable B. I'm not here by myself. I am here with a podcast host that could only be described as Waldorfian. It's Brendan Ruppel.
Oh, wow. Hello, I'm your co-host, of course, the creepy uncle of podcasting, a.k.a. Uncle Cream, high Total Cream Nation, recording live as always from the Crematorium. I'm the editor-in-chief here at Cream Weekly. Dr. Officer Cream reporting for duty. Cream, yes,
Cream. Yes, Cream.
And ACAB, all creams are bastards, of course.
It's always fun to see how a new guest reacts to this. You know, you were just saying in the pre-show about how you don't have a spiel. You save your spiel for the actual episode. You never know how people are going to react. See, you're so brave because you hardly ever know the guests. I mean, you've met them, all of our longtime guests, through the show,
friends,
yeah. But for one of the, I think maybe the first time, this is a guest that neither one of us have met. So I was just worried that she might just sign off as soon as that happened.
And if she does, that they're not for us. Then that's how it is.
Yeah. As I said, a first time guest here on the Lonely Boys for probably the first time. Someone that neither of you have met. She comes highly recommended from friend of the pod, Kirsten McInnes. It is, you may know her from her iconic Ready to Be Petty podcast. It is Torry. Welcome to the show, Torry. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk Gossip Girl.
Yeah, I mean, let's just get. I asked this question to all of our first time guests. I'm assuming you're a fan, but what is your Gossip Girl story? Because we've had people come on that have never seen an episode at all. When did you watch it? Did you watch it as it aired? Have you rewatched it? Did you fall in love with it? What's your Gossip Girl story?
I literally have so much to say that I took notes because I wanted to be concise because I have a deep and rich history with this franchise because I read the books when I was a preteen, which was way too early for me to be reading these books. They were PG-13.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
they were decently raunchy, I would
kissing,
say.
Perhaps?
I just remember I read the first book, and I just remember I've only read the first book. I've only read the first book, and it was after I'd watched the show. But I just remember the author being like, "And Jenny Humphrey had huge boobs. She was 14, and her boobs were large."
Yeah, boy, with those titties bubbling.
Okay.
Literally, why is that one of the only things that I remember? Because I also read Jenny's spin-off series, which your guest last week, one of them talked about.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, they were way better than the original series, but her big titties at boarding school still described in painstaking, really the
main character of the book.
Truly, it's so weird. Yeah, so weird. But I loved the books because, growing up in kind of the sticks in Canada, I was just blown away about New York City and the mystique, and
we're a pretty big deal.
Yeah, being a rich bitch on the Upper East Side, I was like, this is the much to Dan's chagrin, this is the goal, this is the dream. So yeah, I love the books. I read also there's a second spin-off series that I feel like also doesn't get enough credit, The Carlyles, which was about triplets.
Huh.
Okay.
This is another book series, or this is a TV
another
series?
book series. And so, yeah, lots of fodder for the actual TV show. I was I watched the premiere as it first aired. And I was again, something coming to life that you've read, you're so excited. But I actually stopped watching for a really long time because I was so pissed because they follow the books. Right. They went completely off script, and I was just I'm not.
Jenny's
I'm not
tits aren't that big. This is bullshit. I'm stopping the show.
literally, because they
Vanessa
went rogue. Yeah,
Vanessa's not
and
bald
she's
as she is in the book.
Too much hair.
totally too much hair, too much like I don't know, wannabe energy. Vanessa in the books was not like that. So
Really?
yeah. Yeah.
So where do you
Interesting.
stand now? Do you still like have a lot of fondness for the books? Do you like them better than the show, even, or not? Not at this
Yeah,
point? Oh wow.
I would say so. Like rewatching this episode, I was like, oh, I could do like a full deep dive because I haven't rewatched since I watched the like original airings.
Okay.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, the acting's like way worse than I thought it was. And like the clothes and stuff like that are
Yeah.
just so
When you have fresh eyes
so
when you're young, it's different. But like
dated.
me watching for the first time as an adult, it's very clear like who's halfway decent at acting and who's not good at all. They never get better.
Totally. Totally.
Looking
And
at you,
now-
Chase
Yeah.
Ruffin.
And we have learned that you are a much bigger fan of the books. But as far as the TV show goes, do you have a favorite and least favorite character?
Yeah. I definitely think I'm a Blair and Serena girly. Like,
Wow, both of them. You're refusing to choose sides.
yeah. I
Love
could
it.
never choose sides.
So you ship them.
They're both yes,
We ship them.
yes,
Okay, good.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. They're so different. They're awful in their own ways, but I really like the two main girls. Nate, because he is one of the hottest people I've ever encountered. This episode we got some like makeout scenes that I was
Oh,
like,
we got some
okay,
Nate
like,
action in
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
episode.
so I was like, okay, I'm stoked for this. Do I hate anyone on the show? Yeah, like I hated Jenny. I hated
sister Jenny.
Vanessa. I
Fair.
hated
Okay.
Hillary Duff's character.
Oh wow.
Olivia,
Very polarizing.
you hate 2/3 of the threesome already.
Yeah. That threesome literally haunts me to this day.
That's like my main source of JO material. Is that threesome?
Is that
Incredible.
episode
God.
bookmarked?
Yeah.
I'm always wondering when I go to HBO Max to watch the next episode. I'm always wondering why it's back on that episode because Brendan does use my account to watch the
But
episode.
I'd rather listen to us talk about it than watch the episode. Really,
All right.
a lot of hot takes to start here.
Now, before
Yeah.
we get into the episode, let's go to everyone's favorite segment. Did anything weird
Okay,
happen to
yeah,
you
so I
since
was
the last time we
wondering
recorded?
when, this would come
I
up.
teased this. I
Yeah.
teased this in the Patreon episode, and I said, let me save it for Gen Pop, as Kirsten calls the regular listeners. And now, see, with a guest that neither of us have met, I don't know if I should.
Or maybe
I don't
maybe
know.
She's the perfect person
Just
to be here.
lay it
Yeah,
on me.
So as I teased to you, Brendan, I was hanging out with the West Babylon crew
Right.
over the weekend, and your name did come up. They were talking about they have this ritual where opening weekend of the Mets game, the first Saturday home game, they all go to the game and get really drunk. So they were planning on doing that again. They were asking people to come. They were like, "It's March 30th. You want to come?" And I said, "Oh, I can't. I have the Malt Madness championship that day." And they're like, "What's that?" And so I said, "And here's
kinda
the
crazy they
plug
said,
for you
"What's
at the top of the show." My friend has a podcast, and every March they do a beer tournament to figure out what's the number one beer. And Nick Darby, who you may know, said, "Oh, is it Brendan Ruppel?" And I said, "Yes." And Brendan Kennedy turns to me. Do you know Brendan Kennedy?
I'm familiar with him from playing fantasy with him years and years ago.
Yeah, because I didn't know he had known you. And he turns to me and he goes, "Brendan Ruppel?" I'm like, "Yeah, Brendan Ruppel." And he goes, "Brendan Ruppel, iconic flaccid penis." And I said, "What?" And he looks me in the eye and goes, "Brendan Ruppel, iconic flaccid penis." And I said,
Did
"Yeah."
I stutter?
I didn't
And
know
he
I'd
goes-
ever met him before.
And he goes, Nick. And he gets Darby's attention again. And he goes, "Nick, Brendan Ruppel?" And Darby's like, "What?" And he looks at him. He's like, "Brendan Ruppel." And then Darby's like, "Oh, iconic flaccid penis."
they have a running bit about.
No, I don't know. I don't understand.
I would hate that.
so you
more than
must have-
two people know this.
You must have met Brendan Kennedy at some point, and I don't know. I didn't ask questions. I just said,
Like,
"Okay."
You said, yeah, well, yeah, iconic flaccid penis.
No, I'm just going to be saying it every time someone mentions your name. Do you have any idea what they could be referencing?
It's crazy because I wish I could help you with this because I don't know what they're talking about at all. I do know I had a bit of a nude streak in high school, but I don't think I knew Brendan Kennedy at all during that time. So, and Darby's definitely never seen it before.
Brendan Kennedy, maybe. Darby,
Absolutely
Brendan Kennedy with him. He maybe has seen it. Darby,
Very off the table.
Wow, that is
Interesting.
well. I'm glad that
I'll have to get more
everyone
information on this.
knows
I'm going to the Met game with Darby the 28th.
Wait, are you really? Wait,
Yeah.
wait. He's going on the
You're gonna
28th.
wait till then?
As long as he's going opening day, then I'm going to see him there.
We need an update. We need an update.
I'll ask him about this. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know in a couple of weeks how that all
If any
shakes
of our
out.
listeners know anything, please
Yeah, we
don't
need
hesitate
clues,
to comment.
please.
Let us know what's going on. So, no better way to segue into the episode, I guess. This episode is titled "Despicable B." Brendan, do you have any idea what this episode title is referencing?
Yes, it's referencing a movie I have not actually seen in Despicable Me. I think people like it, but people seem to like the spin-offs a little bit more nowadays.
Minions.
The Minions.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I've never seen any of those movies. I
seen any
have heard
Minions
they're
either,
good. But Brendan, this title references the 2010 film Despicable Me. Your hot streak continues.
Oh.
You've now clinched over 50%. You are 13 for 21. Even if you missed the last 3, you will still finish at over 50%.
Wow. Very
You may do
impressive.
the best you've ever done in a season.
I don't know if that's a testament to me or just the easy season, but either way, iconoclast on my part.
Is that your new sign-off?
I guess it has to be.
The original air date of this episode is April 23rd. We are full on in the spring now, and everyone is reading magazines. Serena, after last episode of circling magazines, really brought magazines back onto the map.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Dorota's reading one.
Mhm.
Dan and Blair come down the stairs. Dan is meeting some Simon & Schuster publicists today, and Blair's really excited that he's publicizing himself. She's even apparently dressed him for the event. She doesn't know what could be more important, and Dan's like, maybe the banking crisis or what's going on in Syria, but Blair is more concerned about how Dan can get himself on Twitter, and she tells him to be, a pre-X era where they refer to it as Twitter. She tells him to be humble, self-deprecating, with just a tinge of intellectual superiority, and always leave them wanting more. Some pretty good words to live by, I guess. So Dan
Something
leaves.
that Dan
and
would do anyway. Also crazy here that we're seeing that Dan and Serena, Dan and Blair don't have a chemistry because she refuses to kiss him.
Oh
Doesn't
my
even
god,
wanna
it's
kiss
so
him.
painful.
Yeah, one of the commenters, I don't believe this is the review of the week that I pulled, but one of the commenters were like, see, Dan and Blair are so good as friends, even when they embrace each other, it's hug, not kiss. Friends, not lovers. I said I couldn't say it any better myself.
Not wrong.
A fandom
that's
commenter.
That's not. Yeah.
Tori, how do you feel about the Dan and Blair relationship? Are you a Dan and Blair shipper? Or are you a Dan and Chuck? I'm a Dan and Chuck shipper. Are you a Blair and Chuck shipper?
No. Like, it's so painful. I just don't understand why they had to have this storyline when it's like, couldn't they have dated anybody else outside of the friend group and like
They've
introduced
already tried. They've all.
Show's gone on for too long.
I know. It's
It's
just
unfortunate.
it's so unrealistic. Like, I kind of liked the W magazine storyline. Like,
Sure.
okay, that was fine. But like at this point, it's like it's run its course. They have no chemistry.
Yeah,
like
I agree. The
this
first time-
listener's name.
The first time when they did this, when they were friends, and then they were like, "Oh, maybe there's something there," and they kissed, and they were like, "No, there's nothing there." That was all fine. You should have left it at
Totally.
that. And now they're
Totally.
shoehorning it back in. So once Dan leaves, Dorota, Blair tells Dorota to run her a hot bath because she needs to catch up on her reading. Even Blair wants to get some magazines in, but Dorota snatches the magazine away, and she's like, I have a better idea. How about you watch me clean your closet? Which, fun day, I guess. But Blair seems suspicious already at this. Dorota in high gear, trying to get all magazines out of Blair's reach. This specific
She knows
magazine,
her
I
girl,
guess.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
she knows this will send her spiraling.
It's so crazy. Either one of you guys bath people?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, like occasionally. I don't want Dorota running me a bath. I can do that myself. But like,
I would let Dorota run me a
Yeah.
bath.
Alternatively, I only want to take a bath if Dorota is the one running
I
it.
think that's where I stand as well.
God.
And then Dorota would be like, Brendan Kennedy was right.
I knew that was coming, and I just let it happen. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's in the magazine, the story about me, but you were saying she's seeing the buoy float above the
Yeah.
bubbles.
Once the bubbles pop. Lily and Serena, the villains of the show, are still reveling in how they're taking down poor, defenseless Ivy. And Lily's like, "Did you see the look on her face when Mother's nurse accused her of taking unfair advantage of the weak and elderly?" And right away, I was like, "How did they get Cece's nurse on board with this?" Because the nurse loved Ivy and knew how much she was caring for Cece.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great point.
So I do like how both Ivy ends up being like, "How much did you pay her?" And then even at the end, Rufus is like, "You paid the nurse, didn't you?"
Yeah, that was so savage.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Lily's
But
got
I
it all
like
figured out this episode.
Lily does, but like Serena doesn't. I feel like she doesn't know how brutal her mom can be, and she like really realizes it this episode.
She should know. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we're 5 seasons in, and she's
Still your
still
mom.
shocked.
This is like an
Yeah.
all-time like villain Lily here. Like
Yeah.
we've never seen her go
For
to this
sure.
length.
This is the woman who like signed a fake affidavit to get Serena's boyfriend in jail.
Yeah,
Like,
sure. But I'm excited
jail,
she's
which-
getting to new heights. Though. She's very good.
Yes. So Ivy herself comes up the stairs, and like we said, she has the same exact concern that we had, where she asks how much Lily paid the nurse. Always a valid question when dealing with Lily. She can pay off anyone. And Ivy again asserts she's done nothing but love and care for Cece, and Serena, of course, defends her mom. It's like, it's not her fault. The truth finally came out, and I was like, I don't know, Serena. I think it's exactly your mom's fault, and that's also not the truth.
Right.
No, absolutely.
It's already saying it. It's the opposite.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Serena is wrong a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Poor
Serena
girl.
tells Ivy to leave them alone before they file a restraining order. And, bad episode, I guess, overall for Ivy, but I am happy that she is actually back on our screen and we aren't just like mentioning her or talking to her lawyer. If we're going to get Ivy involved, get her on screen. She's a main character. You're paying her anyway.
It is crazy that she's a main character, and like when she gets introduced again this episode, it's like a big reveal. Like Ivy's still here. Like I'd hope so. Like you're paying her a lot of money to be here.
Open the credits every time.
No, I know, but they do that so often throughout Gossip Girl. Just
Yeah.
like they disappear and you'll never see them again. So
It's true,
like it
yeah.
was kind of shocking in that way.
You never know. You never know who's going on the oil rig with Carter Bazin.
Yeah.
So Serena's like, where's Rufus? How come he's not supporting you? And Lily just blatantly lies and is like, Rufus had an appointment. I told him not to cancel because as long as you're by my side, Serena, I'll be fine. And if I'm Serena, I'd immediately be first of all, I'd be like, okay, why
Suspicious
is Lily
right
being
away.
nice to me? Yeah. But then I'd also be like, what kind of appointment could Rufus have? Because the man never does anything.
Right. All his appointments are with you. He should be sitting in his room writing a stupid song, eating waffles.
Yeah, like
He'll be
never
playing the
leaves
guitar
that
later.
Brooklyn
Yeah.
apartment.
That's
Yeah.
important to him. Yeah.
So the estate now that the will has been revoked, the estate's going to be split 50-50 between Lily and Carol. And right away, I'm like, knowing Lily and
That's
Carol.
not enough for Lily.
50% is not enough for either.
That's
of them.
true
It's
for either
especially
one.
Lily. Carol seems fine with it, but I thought both of them were going to be like, I got to get more than 50%.
I think 50 is a win for Carol. She was like glad her mom's is dead. Lily's
Yeah.
like, you don't fucking deserve it. You're not my real sister.
Yeah.
Yes. So Lily's just happy to be done with the whole thing. Thank God no one knew how dirty it actually got. Screams of foreshadowing here. And the Rhodes girls exit the courthouse, and immediately reporters swarming them. They're asking if they're still fighting over mother's inheritance. Like, this is probably making the billionaire Rhodes not look so down to earth to the common people.
Yeah.
I know. And it's like, why are the paparazzi there? Why does
Yeah,
this family
who
have
knows?
paparazzi?
They're always
people, just
there.
wealthy people. So
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
does ask Lily like if Rufus is gonna be, or if they're like sleeping in separate places, and she just
Yeah.
ice cold lies. It's just like, no, that's not true.
One of them was like, how does it feel to go from high class to high trash? I was like, he should get a job with Gossip Girl with that rhyming wordplay.
A little bit of like Eminem slant rhyme stuff, but I guess it works all right.
So, yeah, Lily assures everyone it's a misunderstanding, and Serena's face drops at the Rufus news because she's probably wondering what's going on. It's like, yeah, Serena, your mom just blatantly lied directly to you.
Yeah, again,
Paparazzi
still
knows more than you
shocked.
do. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Welcome to the show,
Shocked your mom's
Serena.
lying. Yeah.
Nate at the Empire gets a call from Diana, and he's like, you must have the wrong number because you clearly meant to call your son. And Diana's like, it must be a big surprise to you, but, it doesn't have to change anything between us. And Nate's like, yeah, but every time I look at you now, I see a bass in my face, which always got to love the bass word. They really go to that well a lot. You think they named him Chuck Bass just because it rhymed with fuck ass? You get a lot of wordplay out of that.
I never thought of that. But it's like, it's Charles Bass, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I
Could be.
guess maybe.
And Diana's like, I still have feelings for you, Nate. And she's like, now that you've broken up with Lola, you probably have feelings for me too. And he's like, I don't know, this is kind of weird. But Diana thinks like if she just keeps telling him that, eventually he's gonna believe it.
I could see Nate
It's
kind of
so
being into it
bad.
though, like knowing now that this is Chuck's mom. Like now I kind of like you a little more. Like that's not what ends up happening, but I could see Nate fully being like, let's do
Well,
this.
Nate says in this scene, he's like, I don't know, I've never really seen myself as a sleep with your best friend's mother type of guy, which is weird because
Yeah.
if I had to pick anyone in the show to be that guy, it would be
I would
Nate.
pick him as
That's
that.
our guy.
No,
How many
I was
mothers
literally
has he
thinking
slept with?
that. I know. I'm like, you're not above this. Like, you're really not above this. This woman put on her best like blue and black dress. It was very like meme. Was this pre blue
Oh, yeah.
and black dress?
Might have been right around the
Like,
time.
Huh. I think it must have been because I think blue and black dress was when I was in college, probably like 2014-ish. If I had to,
Right.
if I had to
Yeah.
put a year on it, so
Okay.
I think they just missed it.
It
So it's
started.
like she put on her best dress. She's
The meme
making
was
the
from this
phone
episode.
call.
Yeah, yes. And Nate said, "That's gold, babe."
That's gold, babe.
Serena and Lily are back at the penthouse, and Serena's like, all right, is it true you and Rufus aren't living together? And Lily confirms they're taking a little hiatus to clear their heads. And Serena's like, why didn't you tell me? And Lily says, I didn't want to worry you. A classic Lily response.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really
Take a
just that
drink
she doesn't
every
want you
time
to
Lily
know.
says that.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Lily is confident that Rufus will come around like he always does. Her bigger concern is the perception of this whole mess that Ivy caused. Lily is so Lily in this episode. She knows her husband so well that he's obviously going to come back to her when he gets over this because he's, spineless little Rufus. And like, of course, what she's concerned about is her public perception. Lily has seemingly changed a little bit since season 1, but she's still the same deep down.
Oh, absolutely. But
Yeah.
look at her family.
yeah.
Listen, that's the
I
roads.
think she's
That's
maybe
the roads
hiding a
for
little
ya.
bit of the ruthlessness from us. But I guess we just haven't gotten into the situation yet to like show her true colors. I guess the only
Yeah.
thing that she does miscalculate is why Rufus likes her. I think Rufus maybe does like a little bit of the amenities with like what comes with the Upper East Side, but he really does just like her. And by the end of the episode, she's like, where are you gonna find another one of me? Meaning like the money. Like no, I like you. Like the money's great, but like I really like Lily. But
Yeah, who's going to take care of you, baby Rufus?
yeah, like
So
But
condescending.
it's like, didn't they meet and fall in love with each other when she was like cosplaying as a poor person?
Yeah.
Like I
Right,
feel like
right.
Yes,
so
exactly.
it's like that person's not like there anymore. so I
she's
don't
like
know.
fully transitioned now. Like once her mom died into her mom, she's now Cece.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's taken over. Lily has an idea. Big family dinner here to celebrate their victory in court. This is new to me. Have you guys ever had a classic court victory celebration dinner with the fam?
Most weeks.
Yeah. This like happens on the Kardashians actually like quite frequently. So when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, okay, like enjoy
yeah, probably
it.
a rich person thing. Yeah,
Honestly,
so-
every time I get a jury duty questionnaire and I don't send it back in, I take Nicole out to dinner. That's how I celebrate.
Lily's going to invite a reporter from the New York Social Diary to dispel all the rumors of family strife. Like, yes, that's not transparent at all. That's
Yeah.
like if I just saw a random article that was like, the Vanderwoodsons are great.
Yeah.
Kate Middleton thing. It'd be like, you telling me is only making me think that they're not great at all.
Right. Yeah.
Totally.
I'd like to know how common it is to invite like a diarist to your dinner so he can tell everyone what happened while he was at this family dinner.
Well, next
I
time you
know.
refuse jury duty, you can invite a diarist
Yeah.
to dinner.
Exactly. Yeah. It does like date the show, but in my head I was imagining someone just submitting a tip to like do more or whatever. Like
Yeah, yes.
yeah. That's the modern equivalent.
Obviously, Serena is skeptical. She's like, you think the way to handle this is to invite the media into our home? And like when Serena's the sane one in the conversation, you should know that maybe this isn't the greatest plan. But Lily's going to find a way to get Rufus here. She tells Serena to get Lola. And this is a disaster waiting to happen, but by the end of it, like Lily wants the disaster. So it all ends up going well for Lily. And she's like, listen, Serena, get in a good place with Lola. She's coming to dinner. And Lily wants Serena and Lola to get back in a good place so the vicious rumors can evaporate before they begin. And so Serena checks her Gossip Girl tips and sees that Lola has just been spotted going to Lincoln Restaurant. So that's where Serena's going to head.
This is the wild thing too, is it's like this has all happened before breakfast time.
Yes. This is just a typical morning on the Upper East Side.
Nothing new here.
Literally.
They haven't even had their frittatas yet.
Exactly.
Chuck and Nate here. Chuck asked Nate if he was just on the phone with a young lady, and Nate's like, "No, I was talking to your mom." And, Chuck's not sure who this is more awkward for, and Nate's like, "Yeah, with our history, it's just too weird to even be in business with her. Like, I just want to find some other funding and buy her out for good." But the problem was that we've already established that Diana is literally the only person willing to give the Spectator money, apparently. So if this was something that was possible, Nate probably would have done it already. But Nate does have an idea. He's like, listen, someone was backing Diana before. Someone's got to be backing her now. Just got to find out who that person is and tell them to back me directly.
Yeah, it works. I think he initially wanted Chuck to help out, and Chuck was like, "I don't want to get in between me and mommy yet." But it is funny to have a friend that it was like, "Hey Chuck, I like doing this hobby of mine called paper writing. Can you pay for it?" It's like, not yet, Nathaniel. Give me time.
Yeah, Chuck's not liquid. Chuck's still not liquid enough yet after paying the dowry.
Mm-hmm.
So, after Andrew Tyler to come and help Nate find out how
Main
Diana's
cast member
getting her money.
Oh, seems like
Yeah, like Andrew Tyler. Like, that's what it's good for him. Good for Andrew Tyler continuing to get work on the show. Like this man will always be employed.
Yeah, he actually had so much screen time for like a nobody character. I was shook when he came back multiple times this episode.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
Maybe
the
the
guy.
past
This
three
is
in a
like
row.
everyone in the show's go-to guy. He works for the Archibalds, the Basses, and the Vanderwoodsons.
Yeah.
But like, wouldn't there be conflicting priorities?
You would think
there?
so.
Like,
I guess they're not
yeah.
With
always
Andrew
looking
Tyler,
at they're looking
with
into
Andrew
each other's
Tyler.
families, but
Yeah. They
both
usually
hire-
are
that's gonna be an
though.
episode.
oh, that's a good
They both
episode.
hire Andrew. They both hire Andrew Tyler, and he's got to
Where?
he's got to change outfits as he runs from place to place. So Chuck leaves, and AT tells Nate that he's done some digging. He found out that Diana is getting funding from an Australian holding company. He works fast. I don't know. Do PIs get paid by the hour or by the job? Because if Andrew's getting paid by the hour, he might want to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say lump sum.
Yeah, probably.
Or like a retainer. I don't know.
Next time I hire a PI, I'll let you guys.
Yeah,
I'll let you guys know. I love this because he hands Nate what he finds, and Nate's like, "Were you able to find a name?" And Andrew points literally to the first name on the paper he just gave Nate that says Jack Bass, and it's very funny that Nate wasn't able to figure that out without Andrew Tyler directly pointing it out.
He was speed reading, and he just still couldn't.
And you're talking, I'm
figure
not
it
gonna see who's
out.
on here. Tell me the
I'm
name.
surprised that Nate was like, "This means nothing to me because I can't read." Oh, why don't you just tell me who's giving Diana money?
What is it, a math problem? Tell me who it is.
He's
And
such
so
a
Nate-
himbo.
Gotta love the himbo. Nate tells Andrew to find out everything he can about Diana Payne, and we knew that Jack and Diana were in cahoots already. So I don't know. Was this really that big of a reveal?
For them, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. The classic reveal to the character is not a reveal. Not a reveal. That's the
Right.
best kind.
Best kind.
Dorota's cleaning out Blair's closet as planned, and for the first time in a long time, Blair feels that all is right in the universe, but she notices that Dorota threw out her New York magazine before she had a chance to read. Dorota should have taken it somewhere and burned it if she didn't want Blair to find it. Just putting it in the on top of the garbage was not going to do anything.
I was so annoyed at that. That was so frustrating. I'm like, you should know better because you are Blair's lackey. So it's like you know what you need to accomplish in this moment, and you fucked up.
And then she doesn't do a good job getting Blair away from, because she's like, "Oh, don't read it. It has bad things about your friends." And Blair's like, "Don't you know me at all? I love reading bad things about my friends. It's the only thing that makes me feel better about
Walks right
myself,"
into
which is very funny.
I know.
So she sees that Dan made the approval matrix in the highbrow brilliant box, which I wasn't sure what this was, but it does seem good. Highbrow brilliant.
Sounds good.
That
Yeah,
does sound
good
like a good
words.
thing. Yeah. Blair's surprised that he made the magazine at all, let alone the brilliant box. But then she sees a picture of herself, and she's in the lowbrow box for being married for less time than Kim Kardashian. They got her with that one.
Is there a name for the lower box?
the lowbrow?
Oh,
Lowbrow.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
lowbrow box.
Boring.
This is another thing that I didn't get because I'm like, I guess you would be upset for yourself, but you hate this man. She
Right.
wasn't wouldn't you be stoked if your boyfriend was considered highbrow?
She just hates being lowbrow. She hates being below Dan in the relationship.
Yeah,
She's got to be on
yeah.
top.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Blair.
it turns out not all is not right in the universe now, and Blair has to correct the universe by becoming as highbrow as Dan immediately. And thank God Blair hasn't changed completely. She
This
still can't
tracks.
stand lowly Dan Humphrey being looked at in a higher regard than her.
In a
As should
magazine too. This is the most Blair thing ever.
she. Yes, absolutely. I love it. And I love the path that Blair goes on in this episode. It's so funny. Papa Billy gets a call from Serena. She needs advice because word got out about the family drama, and now Mom wants to have a dinner with the press. And Serena does not think this is the way to handle it. So William assures Serena that this is just Lily's process. She has to make sure everything looks good on the outside before she fixes the inside, which is very accurate when it comes to Lily. And Serena's like, okay, well, can you make it? Because you've been such a calming presence. You know, when you're not giving Lily fake cancer, you've been so ever since then, you've been so calming. And Papa Billy wishes he could, but there's no way he can get in town on short notice. But everything will be just fine. And then he hangs up, and we see that not only is he in town, but he is at lunch with the it girl herself, Lola Rhodes. Yeah. What a reveal! He asked where we passes by. Yeah, well, in a second. Yeah. He asked where were we, and Lola's like, I was just about to tell her how you were just about to tell me how you found out that you were my dad. So Lola knows things are getting interesting again, and then Serena passes by at that moment and looks through the big glass window to see them having lunch together. It's a very funny visual. Just Serena just funny. Like staring at the window.
It's funny because like, we do this all the time. We're at the right place, right time, sort of thing. But if we're gonna keep doing this all the time, why can't these people be caught in like a place that Serena would be walking by all the time? We've never seen this location ever.
To be fair, for this one, she checked her Gossip Girl tips to see exactly where Lola was.
That's
so she was going to drop by.
Right.
Yeah, so she was going to drop by to talk to her.
She was at the
restaurant.
So
she didn't know it at the time. But I do love, like, Lola must have just been like, hey, new dad, I just found out you were my dad. Do you want to talk about this super secret, like, conversation that no one else can know about? And he's just like, yeah, let's go to a restaurant with huge glass windows where everyone can see stuff.
It's so bad. Like, get a private booth.
You don't even have to sit. Yeah, you don't have to sit at the window.
It's so bad. Yeah, because even if they were like 2 tables in, she wouldn't have noticed. But I guess if she walked into the restaurant, she would have found them eventually. But I also just want to say, like, the shooting, I always thought when I first watched this series that it was like done, like filmed really beautifully and like done really well. And then you see shots like this where it's just like this tiny little Blake Lively with this huge, like just shot like on a iPhone. I don't know. It looks I thought it looked so bad.
Some of the things they do, especially with their zooms, like I forget which scenes it was, but like a lot of just like super quick pans over and then zooms in. It's like, whoa, relax, guys. Yeah. With those camera lenses.
So Papa Billy has now told Lola everything. Lola doesn't know how she's supposed to be okay with her mom keeping this from her all these years. And William's like, you know, in her own way, she was just trying to protect everyone. What is this, the family line? Everyone just knows to say this. Yeah, she was doing it for your own good. Yep. Yeah, it really is. And so Lola thinks she should have been given the information so she could decide what to do with it. You know, exactly, Lola. Mm-hmm. And William's like, listen, I was a lousy dad anyway, and now I finally learned from my mistake. So, you know, instead of looking back and cursing Carol, let's just look forward and think of the relationship that we can have. So I guess he handled it pretty decently, I suppose.
I guess so. Yeah, with the daughter that's now an adult. Like, what else are you going to say?
Yeah.
So William's like, all right, Carol wants us not to tell anyone, but if you want to tell everyone, I don't give a shit. And this is great timing with the big media dinner coming up. And so, but Lola agrees. She's like, you know, it's probably best if we don't tell the family just yet. So they're not going to say a word. And right away, you know, what could go wrong is what everyone should be thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Here it comes.
As soon as someone says no one can know, you should know that by the end of the hour, everyone is going to know.
Everyone will know.
And usually it'll be Nate's fault. This time,
usually
he's
this time wasn't.
Well, Nate does accidentally he does let it slip to Serena that who Lola's father is, but you know who.
Oh yeah, at the end of that episode. Like, oh yeah,
he does his version of Rain Man in front of her. He's like, you know what to say?
I forgot about that.
Lily pays Rufus a visit. She brings him champagne and asks if he's heard of the good news. A judge invalidated her mother's will so they can finally put all the drama behind them. And she lets herself in to look for some champagne flutes. And Rufus is just like, why are you here? And she says, we're having a celebratory dinner tonight at our place, just the family. You should come by. And Rufus understandably reacts coldly to this. And so Lily, in her exasperated tone, says she's sorry that he's upset with her, but it's time we put the petty fighting behind us and move on. And Rufus is like, that doesn't sound like a real apology because it isn't. And Lily already folds, and she's like, well, I'm not the one who needs to apologize. And Lily's doing a terrible job here. She does feel like she doesn't need to apologize, which she does need to apologize, but she's the one who wants something from Rufus. She either needs to swallow her pride or accept that Rufus isn't coming to dinner. There's no way on earth she can do both. Like, you're wrong, but also come to dinner, please.
You're right. Come help me out.
I don't know why she couldn't do better acting, because the whole dinner she does like the perfect acting to set up the Lola
She's
Ivy
got
stuff, but
too much
like
pride. She's got too much pride.
she does with this
Also,
man.
quick note
yeah.
that Rivers does not have champagne flutes. He brings out 2 like water glasses, which is very funny.
I noted that down too. It's like, Lily, this is not the man for you if you ask for champagne flutes and he gives you water glasses. Like, ugh.
He actually emptied out a Poland Spring water bottle and handed her that.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Basically.
That's my guy. 'Cause
So
champagne
bad.
is bad. Just putting it out there.
So Lily's telling Rufus he should be apologizing for taking Ivy's side and paying her way behind Lily's back, which sure wasn't the best look keeping that from Lily, but he's way more in the right than she is. And
Yeah.
Rufus points out that Ivy was basically homeless, and Lily's like, because the house she was living in was mine. And once again, there's the problem. Lily considers the home to be hers and not hers and Rufus's, which Rufus is quick to point out again.
Right,
Yeah.
and he really catches her there because like they're not even talking about each other at this moment. But she could have easily said she was living in our house, and
Right.
no, she still thinks of everything as her very own.
She respects him so little. She just can't. She just can't.
Yeah, he's just a tenant in her house when he lives there.
Yes.
Basically.
Rufus thought they were in this together, but Lily does whatever she feels like, and this isn't how a marriage is supposed to be. Who's wrong and right shouldn't matter because they should be in a partnership, and Lily agrees. So Rufus tells Lily to give him a call when she's ready to be a partner again, and I hate that I'm siding with Rufus here.
I know, I hate it too. Like, and he
I
seems so
know.
smug when he like shoos her out. I'm like, oh, you
Yeah.
kind of deserve to be smug right now, but I don't
I
like it.
know. I know.
I
He
like
thought
it.
he
I
was
don't
so
like it.
cool, like
Yeah.
holding the door and the champagne for her. But he was right. But I was still like, you're so annoying.
Because even when he's withholding
exactly.
information from her, he's doing the right thing while he's doing it, and like admits now, like, all right, in the future, like I would like try and get you in on this plan, but I at the time I knew you wouldn't be in for it, but I'm willing to now lead an olive branch with you, and she's doing her own version of that.
Yes. So Serena confronts her dad in the lobby. She sarcastically greets him with, wow, it must have been one quick jet you took to get back to New York already, which love the attitude. I see there are versions of Serena that I love when she's not like mumbling and whining. I love like when she just leans into being a bitch.
She
I
should do
love
this
it.
more with him because she should have
Yes.
so much more animosity towards this man. She like
She should.
Totally.
lets him off the hook way too easily. Like whenever she's like, "Oh, Daddy, I love you" all the time. Can you please be an asshole to this guy more often?
You're such a
Totally.
charming presence. I love you, Daddy.
Oh, shut up.
And so William tells another lie and says that he bonded with his niece at the wake, and she's been a bit lonely with all the stuff going on with her mother, so he's trying to be there for her. And Serena's like, okay, so why'd you lie? And he's like, I heard Rufus and Lily were having problems. I didn't want my presence to make things worse. Pretty quick on his feet. Not a bad job
Yeah.
here. But he didn't want to lie, but he didn't know what else to say. So Serena says he can make it up to her by coming to dinner tonight, which is exactly why he lied in the first place, to avoid going to dinner.
Yeah.
Like, sir, were you listening? Were you listening to what I said? But
This man is
Serena
such a
makes
snake.
it.
He lies so much, but he's not nearly as good at it as Lily is. Like Lily has an agenda the entire time. He's just like doing it on his feet the whole time, but almost
Yeah.
never says the truth.
Right, yeah, no,
No.
he just goes into the lies very quickly. And Serena makes it clear she's not taking a no for answer. So William is convinced. And Serena is also going to invite Lola, so this should be a great time.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I was like fully expecting like a Thanksgiving dinner type ordeal to go down.
Oh, same. And it was so disappointing because I couldn't remember, because again, haven't watched this in 10 years or whatever. And I was expecting like a long table, like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like, and then it was just like literally like their breakfast nook. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this
Sometimes those
isn't
things do
people
matter. Like
More
that's
people
the-
should have been at the. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say more people should have been invited to the family dinner. Like they didn't even invite Dan. He's part of the family.
Yeah. No, yeah. I part of my complaints for
Right.
like a lot of season 5 was that like the event of the week is at a small. Sometimes it's in the penthouse with Cece dancing,
Yes.
dancing her way to the grave.
But what a party! But what a party that was.
Her last hurrah.
Nate's trying to reach Jack, but no luck there. And in the meantime, Lola's here to pay him a visit. She just recently gained insight on how painful this Diana thing must be for Chuck, and she's really sorry for the role she played in that. And Nate wants to know what happened, and she explains that her father finally came forward, and she just spent the morning with him, so she needs someone to talk to. And Nate is happy that she chose him, because he went through the same thing with Chuck when he thought he found his mother a couple years ago. It's so convoluted. Like, even
It's
just that
crazy.
sentence that he
I know.
says.
It's so funny when she
Yes,
does come to him to apologize, and she's like, "Yeah, I just want to say sorry for everything." And he's like, he gave her such a hard time last week, and now he's just like, "Oh, thanks. That's all right.
Nate forgets.
Yeah.
Remember last week or the week
He does
before when
forget.
Serena came in and she was like, "Are we fighting?" And he's like, "I don't remember, but I don't want to be." I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lola's like, "What? Another woman was Chuck's mother?" And it's like, "Yeah, but it turns out it was all just a lie orchestrated by his uncle Jack." And he has a Dr. House moment here. Either he's having an epiphany or his head just hurts from talking too much. But once this happened, I was like, really? Could this be another fake mom set up by Uncle Jack? Could this show really be doing the exact same thing to Chuck twice?
Maybe do we cut it this 3 times now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like you're giving way too much credit to these writers.
I know. I really. Also, the show just introduced the twist that Diana is Chuck's mother, and now it's the same thing where the writers once again cannot get on the same page. We switch out the writers, and we are completely undoing it. We had no time to like sit in the twist and actually care about it before they just say, never mind. She's
like
she's
directly
not
the
mom."
next episode. This is literally like the plot. A comparison of Michael Scott's vasectomies. It's just the snip, snap, snip, snap.
Snip, snap, snip.
It's back and forth.
She's not the mother. Diana's the mother. Diana's not the mother. Elizabeth is the mother. Who cares who's the mother? Jack's the father. Like, what? What?
And what you just said was in the span of 3
Father
episodes.
too?
That was very good.
You're doing this all in one episode? What? So Nate apologizes. He can talk more later, but he has to deal with something else first. And Nate thinks he's onto something here with this thought, so he tells his new assistant, where's the other girl? He fired his other assistant, forgot her name, but I liked her.
She was kind of working behind his back as Gossip
She was.
Girl.
She was working for Gossip Girl,
Yeah.
but I don't think Nate ever found that out.
No way he
Whatever.
found that out.
So he gets Andrew Tyler on the phone and says if he can dig up everything he can on Elizabeth Fisher. So Detective Nate is back.
We've done this to her before. Like so many people have tried to dig up information on this woman.
Yes.
Yeah. But he finds new stuff.
I
So.
guess, yeah.
Yeah, listen, you put a nickel in Andrew Tyler and he's gonna find some
Dig a
stuff.
little
He never fails. Yeah.
That's why he knows these people are going to be asking about the same people over and over again, so he just digs.
So he
halfway
leaves
deep.
some stuff for
Leave
later.
a little bit, yeah.
Exactly.
He's got the next year and a half's worth of intel on everybody ready to go. That's how he
Give
keeps
him just
himself
enough.
useful. Yeah. Blair had a brilliant and extremely highbrow idea. She decided to allow FIT to exhibit her lovely shoe and handbag collection. Would you buy a ticket to this exhibit?
Oh yeah,
Blair Waldorf shoes and handbag. Oh yeah.
easily. Just shoes.
Yeah.
As long as there's sniffing involved. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say cut the bread and sniffing the shoe.
It's the way that like this is just so unrealistic because again it's like you're nobody like because these characters are based off of like New York socialites, but it's like even the New York socialites aren't getting exhibits at FIT, which is maybe supposed to be the Met. I don't know.
Yeah. Even the guys like, maybe if you were a princess still, I'd bite. But since you're no longer royalty, and Dorota cuts him off as like, Blair is still royalty to me. Which, very
sweet,
cute.
but doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
Like, the people that like know who Blair is like the people that are like her. Like the Upper East Siders know who she is, but they're not the kind of people that are going to go see her shoes. If she was like a legit celebrity, people would come out of the woodworks to go see her. But otherwise,
I'm surprised those middle schooler Gossip Girl enthusiasts didn't all get tickets to see.
Yeah,
They really couldn't afford it. Their mom didn't give them enough allowance.
I can't imagine it
or
would
like
be cheap.
yeah, Constance Billiard like alums, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe might hit up the.
I guess, yeah. If they're still, they still appreciate Blair for the high school royalty she was. I mean, how can this man say Blair's in royalty? Dan just gave her a shitty tiara last week. Had her waltz on top of
bad.
the yeah.
And like looks like he made her a dress too. I don't know what that was.
So the man also tells her it's too similar to an exhibit they already did with Daphne Guinness. And Dan comes in and is like, who was that guy? And Dorota's basically like, hey, he's just some piece of shit. And Dan's meeting went well, though. They just wanted to tell him in person that he's one of 5 people nominated for the 2012 Young Lions Fiction Award. And Dan wants Blair to be his date to the cocktail party tonight, honoring all the nominees. This show is really big into announcing parties and events the literal day of.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
That's a good point.
that's a
Tonight.
really good point.
Party tonight.
It is
invite
when people
everyone.
like just have their schedule clear until like a party pops up that day.
Because they know they're going to get into
They're gonna
invited
get
to a
it.
party
Yeah,
that
exactly.
day. Yeah.
That night, I didn't even think of that, but that's so true. That happens all
It
the
happened
time.
last time. Yeah. And so Blair can't wait to go honor her boyfriend that's doing such highbrow, brilliant things. This magazine really has her in a tailspin.
She hates him. Like she literally hates him. Stop.
It's so funny because both of the Humphrey men, like Lily clearly hates Rufus and Blair clearly hates Dan. It's
Yeah.
That's the crux of the show. That
It's
is
so
the whole
funny.
point of
And they're the
having
same
the
people.
Humphreys.
They're the same people.
It's like,
But,
it's like Rufus and Dan have wormed their way into the inside, but they still don't have the respect of them.
No.
like, would it help if Dan was like came from a better family and then was like still more respected than Blair? Or does she? Because she wants to be more respected than who she's dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it is worse that Dan is like from Brooklyn and is only like
And it's still beating
living
her
in
somehow.
$1 million house instead of $1 billion.
I was just gonna say, in that poor, like, like
exactly.
9 million square feet apartment in Brooklyn.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Serena visits the Spectator. She asks if Lola's here because she just saw on Gossip Girl that she was here. How convenient. Serena's getting all these Gossip Girl tips that she knows where everyone is. And Serena's just trying to invite Lola to family dinner, but she can't get a hold to her. And Nate's like, "Oh, I'm glad to hear that because Lola could really use someone to talk to. She's going through some things." And Nate, of course, just spills everything, which, again, you can't really blame him for this one because he had no way of knowing who Lola's father was, but it's still so funny that Nate is the one to blow the secret again, and literally right after Lola tells him.
He's so dumb. Like, even though he doesn't know that it's Serena's dad, but it's like, maybe your friend wants you to keep that information quiet for 5 minutes. Like,
yeah, exactly.
brutal.
Like, literally, the first person he saw after Lola, he told her.
He's like, "Oh, guess what? Lola's really struggling with like her parents." Like,
oh, Andrew Tyler, by the way, I don't know if this will help, but my friend Lola just met with her father, so I don't know if you want to do something with that information too. So, yeah, he tells Serena that she just met her father for the first time today, and Serena is easily able to put these pieces together. And Nate's assistant, Amy, has found the phone number he was looking for, so Nate leaves Serena just standing in the office pondering, and the look on Serena's face was really something. She's like frozen in confusion and is just standing in the middle of the Spectator office, just like staring into the camera confused.
And she's like
not even confused.
Didn't I used to work here? Where's my desk?
This place looks familiar.
oh my god.
Rufus, of course, is playing the guitar, and I wish they panned out Vanya was just there enjoying the performance.
Yeah, we love it.
But instead, it's just Dan asking how his speech is for tonight. And Rufus is like, "Oh, I'd be proud to accompany you tonight as a proud father." And Dan's like, "What's going on? You never want to hang out with me," which isn't true because I feel like Rufus always wants to be buds with his son.
Yeah, sure. Dan knows he's not busy right now. It's like he shouldn't have to call Rufus out. It's like, yeah, your dad is home too much, and you want him out of the house because this used to be like your entire apartment for a period of time.
Yeah, and like toss him an invite. You're a nominee. I'm sure you can squeeze 2 invites.
Yeah,
he's like, "No,
made no sense." And,
so Dan reminds Rufus that Lily is still his wife, and Rufus is like, "Don't tell me on her side," and which isn't what he said, but he's like, "I'm not on anyone's side, but Rufus, you taught me the importance of equality in a relationship, and if Lily's taking steps to make things better, how can Rufus not try to do the same?" Which isn't exactly what's happening. Like, she's clearly using Rufus to look good in front of the press. It's actually the opposite of what Dan's saying.
I don't think Dan knows the situation. He's just assuming like, well, I know Lily came here, so she must still love you and wants to like mend things, but he doesn't know at all what she said when she was there.
He's like, "I have no idea what's happening, but I have a feeling you're wrong."
Well, it's just a good instinct. I appreciate that.
Yes. Serena is frantically telling her mom that she needs to cancel dinner tonight. I gotta say, this is feeling like an actual Gossip Girl episode. Like, they've done a great job the first half of the episode setting up like all the potential chaos. Like, everything makes sense. They're doing a great job juggling all these pieces. I was very excited.
Right, and it was still, like, it was chaotic enough where like, I don't know how they're gonna figure this out. And then Lily, the person that can figure it out, figures it out for us and does a good job.
Yes. Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. So Serena explains she just found out Lola's her sister, which means that Dad must have had an affair with Carol while they were still together. And Serena explains all the intel she gathered, and everything adds up to William being Lola's father. But Lily's like, there could be some other explanation, which I'd love to know if Lily actually thinks there's another explanation, which what could that possibly be? Or if immediately she hears this news and is already in the mode of like, okay, how can what's the plan
I think
now?
that, and she's just trying to like not to look shaken in front of her daughter.
Yeah. She's already setting up the blind side for tonight.
Oh my god. Lily goes into work.
This information actually
immediately.
works in my favor somehow, amazingly.
Yeah. She was stoked.
Yes. So Serena's adamant that this is the explanation because it explains everything. Carol hiding Lola, hiring Ivy, and Lily must know in her heart that it's true. And Lily takes Serena's hand and is like, "Hey, I'm not married to that cheater anymore, so who cares? We need to handle our present problems before we dig into the past." And she asks if either one of them know that they know the secret, and no, so let's just keep it that way until the reporters leave, and then we can sit down with everyone and figure it out in a mature manner. And I was thinking like, oh, Serena's definitely going to blow this. Little did I know that Lily was going to purposefully blow it.
Right. That's
much better.
Exactly. Because if Lily didn't want to blow it, Serena would have blown it for her.
Yeah.
Totally.
It is really impressive how fast she comes up with a plan, because as soon as Serena leaves, she grabs her phone. She's like, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from right now, but I have a partnership proposition for you. Did you guys know who she was talking? Because immediately I was like, gotta be Ivy.
Yeah, I didn't realize at first. Maybe I thought maybe it was going to be Billy Baldwin himself. But she calls him later for another favor.
Yeah, actually, I
Bigger
might have.
favor.
Now that you said that, I might have had that thought too. But it's quickly Ivy, obviously.
But yeah,
Yes.
still impressive that she's like not frazzled by this news. I guess because
No,
she
not
had
at all.
already known that he was a cheater, so I guess like this is a lighter blow. Like, okay, during that cheating, you had a baby. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
With her sister.
I guess
though.
she didn't know that she was with her sister.
Yeah.
But maybe she did.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe deep down she did know. Yeah.
Right. So Nate keeps leaving Elizabeth voicemails. I don't know why, but he seems to be convinced now that Elizabeth is Chuck's real mother, which I don't know. Why did he put the pieces together in this way? Even if he thinks Jack is lying again, that doesn't mean that must mean Elizabeth is Chuck's mom. Like, it could be anyone.
I guess he feels like Jack is covering up for Elizabeth for some reason. So he's like, that's why it's got to be her.
You're not convincing me.
I don't know. I'm not convinced either. I just think maybe that's why. I think I also am not trying to be convinced in any direction because I'm not interested anymore.
Right, of course.
It's so fair. That's so fucking fair. Like,
You can only throw so many Chuck parent storylines at me before I lose all interest.
Right.
literally.
Chuck's telling Elizabeth that if she has any proof she's Chuck's mother, to please come forward and help him. And Andrew Tyler comes in. The first record of Diana Payne is from 3 years ago, but before that, it's like she didn't exist. And so Nate's like, that must not be her real name. So how are we going to find out her story? And you just leave that to a professional, buddy. Andrew Tyler will take it from here.
He's on the case, baby.
He's on the case. Blair's all dressed up. Dorota's confused because Lonely Boy specifically said this was a casual book party. So Blair begrudgingly takes her opera gloves off.
Opera gloves is so funny.
Yes, I can take my opera
Good.
And Blair all of a sudden claims that she doesn't aspire to be like the highbrow, brilliant people at all. They're all boring doctors curing diseases and lame philanthropists trying to save the world. Dorota points out that Mr. Dan is not lame, and Blair admits that he's the exception to the rule. But Blair's new people are Gwyneth, Victoria Beckham, and Mayor Bloomberg. The headline makers having all the fun, apparently. It's time she becomes one of them. Fuck, marry, kill. Gwyneth Paltrow, Victoria Beckham, and Mayor Bloomberg.
I guess we kill the Bloomberg right away.
Gotta kill the Bloomberg.
Gotta kill the Bloomberg. Fuck Victoria Beckham. I don't know what she looks like, but maybe she looks like David Beckham, so I'm gonna fuck her.
You don't know what
him.
you
Probably
don't know
not.
what Victoria Beckham looks like?
I assume
It's
pretty.
kind of crazy.
Paul, you don't know the Spice Girls?
And I'll marry
Posh Spice.
Gwyneth Paltrow only if it's just the head. In the box. Oh, it's the
I
same
am-
thing. Sorry.
I cannot believe this.
Let's
I
see.
am,
feel like
No, I would not have flagged
Yeah,
this. up.
I'm shocked by this news that Brendan has never seen Victoria Beckham, but I'm also in complete agreement with you that I would marry Gwyneth.
I nailed the
She's
fuck,
got
marry,
that
kill.
successful goop business. I think she'd be fun to hang out with.
It's a goof
and,
business. It's very fun.
Victoria. Okay, I'm Victoria's number one stan here, but like she's very successful too. Did either of you watch the Beckham documentary? It was like one of the
Yeah.
most watched
No.
Netflix things
Not by me.
this past
This
year.
podcast.
Apparently
This
not.
podcast.
God.
No, if I bumped into
God.
this woman, I wouldn't have recognized her. And the picture I'm looking at, I would have knocked her over because she's in crutches. If I bumped into her, so seems like a nice lady.
Accidentally? Or
Yeah,
why is crutches the first picture that comes up?
no.
That's
Whatever.
so weird. Yeah.
Let's get back on track. Blair's made a list of talking points for when the press calls this evening. She's planning on stealing Dan's spotlight on his big night, and she's just saying it like she's gonna do it while doing a good deed. So it's highbrow despicable. Our Blair is coming back, baby. Coining the term highbrow despicable.
And it's so funny that she knows she's doing a shitty thing to Dan and is like, but he loves me so much, he'll forgive me. It doesn't matter. I could fuck
love
over
it.
him of all people. It's great.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't
Yeah,
care.
she doesn't care.
Because a lot of times people would be like, "No, I'm doing this for a good reason. Like this, I'm not doing this for,"
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
just
right.
subconsciously be like. But Blair's just like, "Yes, I'm going to steal Dan's spotlight tonight.
I need this. This is
Totally.
important
I want to be better than him. What don't you understand?"
It also, again, really just shows how like dated this is, because nowadays, if a girl, like if Blair wanted to upstage Dan, she would go into like a quiet luxury outfit, where this was like loud luxury,
Oh, yeah.
I would say. Like she wants like the wealth to whisper, but like this was not that. So it's like an it girl nowadays would not do this, Blair.
Right. She's got to adjust with the times. So Rufus calls Lily. His talk with Dan must have changed things because he's decided that as Lily's husband, he'd like to support her this evening. And Lily's like, "Oh, that's sweet, but dinner's canceled. I'll call you later. Bye."
Like, this doesn't work for my narrative anymore, so I don't really need you.
Yeah, we're on to bigger and better things, bud. You can play
Rufus,
some
keep
guitar.
up. Should have said yes the first time.
The contempt this woman has for this man. She's like, "Yeah, I actually don't care if you live or die tonight. Like,
Bye.
dinner's canceled." Like, so
And
bad.
then when she hangs up, we see who else but Ivy back in her home. Lily has proposed a partnership, a classic Lily and Ivy mess around.
I really would like to see, though, what would happen if Rufus said yes initially, how she would like tell him to fuck off.
Right. Like, Rufus, I don't want you coming.
Like, I want a divorce immediately.
All right, well, I wasn't going to divorce just yet, but if it has to happen before dinner, it has to happen before dinner.
Literally, yeah.
Dan and Blair's big event. Dan reminds her she was supposed to dress casual, and Blair's like, "This is casual, bitch." And Blair seems to just be walking
so patient,
around.
but he like sees, he's
He
like,
really is.
okay, well, I mean, you look great, but like
All
a
right.
little much. Whatever. I gotta keep doing my thing.
Blair's just like walking around trying to be noticed, and then she's like, he calls her out. She's like, "What? Why isn't nothing on posted on Gossip Girl yet?" And Rhoda's like, "I don't know. I sent her the tip about you being better dressed by anyone than anyone at the stupid book party."
Her walking around
guess,
trying to be noticed is so funny.
It's so like pick me, like
it's
try
so quick,
hard.
but it's very, very funny.
It's
I
very
guess-
Blair.
I guess Gossip Girl Serena had better things to do today than put the tip that Blair looks good at a book party.
Yeah.
So Blair's pissed no one's paying attention to her, and I get it. Blair needs to shift into phase 2. She interrupts Dan's conversation with pretentious people and says that his book was Waldorfian, being that she was Dan's muse and inspiration, and she introduces herself as Blair Waldorf to every single person in the conversation. Blair Waldorf, hi, Blair Waldorf, hi, Blair Waldorf.
Always cutting off Dan and walking in front of him, stealing a handshake.
So good. Nate has called in a favor from former Empire All-Star Victor, and Victor lets Nate into Diana's room so Nate can just look around, I guess. Always good to keep in touch with Victor. I'd like to think that Nate still keeps in touch with like all the former employees, just in case he needs something.
I think it was
Yeah.
Hey, Victor,
a
how's
nice
it
guy.
going?
Yeah.
How you doing, Victor?
Yeah.
He goes and runs
Sorry
with these
Chuck
guys.
fired you back in season 3. So Nate's looking everywhere, and we get like a montage of Nate just like looking. It's an interesting choice.
What the,
It's
I don't
so
know what the song
funny.
was behind it, but I like the song that kicks in.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't know either. It was
good
good, though.
music.
Bop.
This series has good music because it's the creator of the OC, which was
Right.
like known for its soundtrack. So
Oh, yeah.
the Gossip Girl soundtrack's hit.
Solid.
Josh Schwartz knows what he's doing with a soundtrack. Josh Schwartz and whoever the musical supervisor is, great team there.
Yes.
So back to the penthouse. Lily is telling the diarist is here now that the rumors of her family fighting have been way overblown. It's actually just one bad egg that's been tearing the family apart. But she won't let that happen at dinner this evening. So dinner is still in fact happening, despite what Rufus thinks. And she apologizes to the diarist that her husband won't be in attendance because he's feeling under the weather. And much like Blair is back, our Lily is back.
She's back in a big way.
She
It's so funny. She hasn't even lied to this guy yet. Like she fully means Carol, and she's like, "Well, there's just one bad egg, and I won't let that happen."
One bad-
Like I'll
Sure,
show you
yeah,
right now.
I'll show you who the bad egg is. Yeah. So Lily calls out Serena for not having her happy face on. And Serena's like, "This is weird. Why haven't we canceled?" It's like, it's already happening, Serena. Get that happy face on. So,
Yeah, it's so bad.
yeah, Carol arrives. Lily can put on a happy face. She puts on the fakest happy face to pretend like she's thrilled to see her. She's like, "Carol, you're here.
You're so fucked, Carol.
You have no idea what's about to happen, Carol.
You don't mind the police in the hallway.
You don't know how many policemen are hiding behind the door right now. How long was everyone hiding behind various doors in the
Yeah.
house?
Hey, what were they talking about? Like, they're like,
Literal hours.
I didn't sign up for this
What was
job
the
for this
prep?
shit.
They all come in. So like, officers, you wait in that room. Ivy, you're
Yeah.
gonna wait in that room. All right. And
Who is
when
this?
you
Yeah.
stop, you're gonna come out. And the officers are, oh, all right, I guess. I guess.
I love a good cue.
So good. She finally introduces the man as David from the New York Social Diary, and I guess this man is just supposed to write an article about how great the Vanderwoodsons are. Again, to me, that would seem even more suspicious.
I guess it's just a thing that
Yeah.
happens in this world. It is so weird that he's just writing about the dinner. I can't go.
Well, he's gonna have a much
Yeah.
he's gonna have a much better story when
Yeah.
this is all said and done.
Yeah,
He ate a lot more than he bargained for.
He ate it up when it all went down.
He is so
yeah.
lucky. Back to the Nate looking montage. He finds Diana's planner, but Diana walks in and catches him in the act, and she's like, "If you wanted to steal my underwear, all you had to do was ask." But Diana doesn't seem to be phased at all that Nate is here. She just calmly asks, she's like, "Why have you broken into my hotel room?"
I mean, she usually does
Yeah.
play everything like pretty calm and collectively, but I think she was more excited because she's been trying to get Nate back on her side, and there was maybe a tinge of like, this is a little weird, but as soon as you take off the shirt,
As soon as Nate's like,
Come
"If
on.
you must know, I was looking for something for you to wear," which great
But I
scene
thought
by
being
Nate.
suspicious.
I would have folded too. I would have been.
Exactly.
I
Like
guess
this was
Yeah.
all suspicious, but okay, you said the right thing. When in doubt, use sex
Yeah.
appeal. Good move, Nate.
I think I'm just
No,
always so
seriously.
suspicious of Nate playing on his toes, and like Nate doing improv, just
Yeah.
really is always
Yeah,
is
and
a
it,
flag
like
up.
he did well, but I just feel like with Diana, it's like if you are literally faking your identity, why are you allegedly? Why aren't you more suspicious when someone's like searching around your room?
Right,
Like,
right, yeah.
I guess because she
It's
did have
like-
nothing to hide, really.
Well, when Nate immediately starts dressing, like you're gonna get, he's gonna get Diana's attention. So, Nate says he's tired of fighting, so he's not going to anymore. And a shirtless Nate starts kissing Diana and getting on top of her in bed. Ooh-wee.
Love
Let's
it.
just sit and revel in that.
Everyone, just a moment of silence.
just
for,
replaying
shirtless
that
Nate.
in my head. Yeah.
And again, I say this once in a
We're all
while, but
gonna- we're all gonna take a break and go to the D&D room real
yeah,
quick, and
we'll be right back.
we're back.
We don't get that much horniness in a show that's like branded as like the horny teen show. This doesn't happen that often where you get like a shirtless character.
Right.
Really
Not as
getting
much-
steamy.
But again, totally. But in the context of like 2012 or whatever, when did this
Yeah.
come out again?
This is
It was
2012
This
right
episode
now.
would be in 2012. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this was, I think, shocking because I don't think unscripted because it aired on the CW and then with scripted TV, like I felt like I only saw sex on HBO and then like Jersey Shore.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
the
that at the
smush
time.
room.
This mushroom.
yeah, yeah.
Nate said,
So
I would like to take you to the smush room. She said, "Oh yeah."
like this is the mushroom. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Diana
No, just
Payne said during the scene, she went, "Oh, that's an iconic hard penis." That's what she said in my version.
That is what you say, yeah, in your
Yeah.
version. And Brendan, if you want more horniness, just wait till we get to. I know I keep teasing it. Wait till
You've
we
been
get to the
saying,
reboot.
yeah. I want some blurs.
Have you seen the have you seen the reboot, Tori?
No, I haven't. I know I kind of feel like a fake fan because I didn't watch the reboot, but I felt like
bad.
I was waiting. I know I was like waiting for the reception, and then when it was bad, I was like, I'll just put that on the back.
But
burner.
quick, right? Like two
Yeah,
short
it was
seasons.
bad, and then it started.
Seasons.
Yeah, it was bad, and then it started to get a little
Yeah.
better, and then it got canceled. So maybe it would have been good.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll never know.
I know
We'll
because
never know.
people were stoked on the second season, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Are we talking like
We'll
Euphoria
see.
horny or like or not that? quite that
no,
level?
no. Well,
you'll see. You'll see.
All right.
Brendan.
yeah. It's like obviously less dark.
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, William and Carol, she assures William that he can breathe easy now since she is half her mother's estate. I wouldn't be so sure about either of that. William cannot breathe easy, and she's not going to have half her mother's estate very soon. So, wrong on both counts. So, maybe Billy shouldn't have been having lunches in front of those huge glass windows if he wanted his secret.
Sure.
So, William tells Serena she looks lovelier than ever, and not only does Serena avoid the hug, but she says, "Thank you, I get it from my mom." Love
Yeah.
Love
This
it,
is the
love
Serena
it.
we like.
Yes,
it.
this is the Serena I like. This is more of what she was like in the books, also. Not
okay.
the blubbering, like,
Right.
space case idiot.
We like a grumpy
like,
teen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally. Like the bratty
This-
teen.
This was my joke of the episode until we get to Lily in the dinner, where she has a much better line. we will get to. Serena's laying it on thick about how happy she is that everyone is in the same family. The whole family's here. What a slap in the face to Roof Daddy.
Yeah,
Dan.
really.
Yeah, and Rufus.
Dan and
yeah.
Chuck even too. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, true. Chuck doesn't get the invite. Dan doesn't get the invite. Dan, his book award is here, and he gets announced to the podium to make his speech. Half a sentence into Dan's speech, Blair just waltzes up to the. This is an incredible move. This is insane. If this happened on a televised event, everyone would be talking about it. But she just waltzes up to the podium, interrupts him, made me laugh out loud, and she's like, "What a wonderful introduction, Dan!" Like it was half a sentence. What a wonderful introduction, Dan. I truly could not tell you how moved I was by all the touching things you wrote about me in Inside. And then she gives a speech on her own, and she announces that she's going to give an endowment to the Young Lions Fund to help with children's literacy so that all the despicable New Yorkers out there can, like me, can one day grow up and read Inside themselves. But she refers to remain anonymous, so she toasts Dan and to literacy and to me anonymously.
To me anonymously. So funny. The letting Dan do his acceptance speech for maybe 5 seconds and he's calling it an introduction is so funny.
Totally. Very like a Kanye inspired moment.
Oh yeah.
I love this for so many reasons. Like it's a good deed on paper, the thing that she does. And then again, just unlike so many characters who pretend they're doing it for good, Blair is fully acknowledging that she is doing this to fuck over her boyfriend Dan so she can regain the spotlight. I love her.
Yeah. No, she's great. And again, to give Dan some credit, and we'll give him more credit when he talks to her later, but so patient. He just looks at her like, what is happening? But I guess I just have to let her do her thing right now because there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I mentioned the toast. I think when she calls the toast, I think I saw one person raise their glass. That was me.
They were gooped, but honestly, they should be happy with the donation. And I thought they were dressed too casually for the event. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No opera gloves on any of them, actually.
Okay, when you drive, I know you wear driving gloves. Have you ever converted to opera gloves for wintertime?
She gets some opera gloves for the car. Hey, it was so warm today, I didn't even have to wear my driving gloves.
The first day, you haven't worn them this season?
No, there's been other warm days. But
okay. I was gonna say
that steering wheel gets so cold
in the morning, especially.
What? I always use Under Armour as my brand for driving gloves.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Not to sound like an elite
New York
man, but
New Yorker. Yeah, you don't have a car. You take the subway.
No, I have a heating steering wheel and remote start. So
whoa,
no big deal.
Heated steering wheel. Those things must be putting the glove business out of business.
The poor gloves. Yeah, it's only because my sister works at Jeep, so I'm lucky, man.
Oh,
your sister.
The Erin.
The Erin. Gotta love the Erin.
The Erin.
Back to Lily's dinner. She's sitting right next to her New York social diary buddy, and she has decided to serve tonight's meal family style. She's really playing. It's so.
I didn't even register that it is kind of weird, jarring to see them at a round table like this, like a perfect, little tiny nook.
That's what I'm saying. They usually have the grand, long tables, and the servants serving the food.
You only pop out when you
They don't really know what they're eating until they get it put in front of them.
Yeah. And she usually hates family style, but she's recently realized how important sharing is to the family dynamic.
Yes.
And they share more than you could possibly imagine. Yeah. Now we get to the actual joke of the episode. Carol makes a lighthearted joke in response to Lily when she's like, "Yeah, like when you used to steal my leg warmers when we were teenagers." Hee hee hee, ha ha ha. She has no idea what she just teased Lily about. And then Lily, nonchalantly, without missing a beat, with the warmest smile you could imagine, goes, "Yes, and yes, just like that. Or when you stole my husband and decided to have a baby with him."
Just set up perfectly.
It was so in extreme ways playing in the background like that.
Slapped in the face with words.
The delivery and the message were both outstanding. I didn't know what she was doing at the time, but I was like, whatever this is, let Lily cook.
Yeah, and nobody could have delivered this like Kelly Rutherford. So props to that. It's so funny.
Truly one of the only good actors in this show.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Yes, just like that. And also, yes, the leg warmers.
The leg warmers. All the way to the cheating on my husband. Oh man.
With her vaguely European accent, it's really good.
Everyone's face drops. Serena asks Lily why she's doing this now, and New York Diary Boy starts furiously scribbling.
I didn't think I was going to use this, but here we go.
This is so messy and fun, and what Gossip Girl should be. And the fact that Lily's causing the chaos, even better.
And it's,
Yeah.
in her way, it's a controlled chaos too, because she has the whole situation
Yes.
under wraps too. It's not just like shit hitting the fan; she's throwing it at the fan and then catching it all in a garbage bag.
It's so good.
I can really visualize.
I grossed myself out as it was coming out.
Serena tries to get David to leave, but Lily doesn't want there to be any more secrets. And Carol immediately blames William for telling Lily, but he's like, I never said a word. And Carol never wanted Lola to know about this, and Lola's angry now. She's like, well, you know what? Then maybe you shouldn't have tried to blackmail him. Lily's not done, though. Because if it wasn't bad enough that you slept with my husband and kept your daughter in the dark about her father's identity, then you send an imposter into my home to get money. And
Imposter?
Carol
Come on
doesn't
out.
give a shit anymore. Carol got her inheritance, so she's leaving. But Lily's like, not so fast. Gentlemen and two policemen, who knows how long they were standing there, come out to take her away. Like, Lily really planned out all of this.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
good. This is good. Good first reveal.
Unfortunately,
so
I do have to
good.
point out that ACAB does include these gentlemen who
Yes,
take Carol
it
away.
does. But they're necessary for
All
now.
creams are bastard.
Yes.
Carol is being arrested for fraud. She tries to pin it on Ivy, but Lily calmly says that Carol was the one who put her up to it, so that makes her the mastermind. And David just keeps madly scribbling. He is going to have the story of the year. He probably has an iconic hard penis right now.
No, truly,
Divers
I can see
famously
that. Yeah.
get aroused when they get a good story on their hands.
Yeah.
That's what
I-
I've heard
I
of
can't blame
writers. Yeah. Carol boldly states in front of everyone that Ivy would never admit that, otherwise she would incriminate herself in the process, and then perfectly queued up. Ivy never has a plan been more perfectly like this is Jigsaw level of
Oh my
planning.
God.
Mhm.
And it's amazing because like these two have been sworn enemies for like the past 10 episodes lately. It's
Lily can work with anyone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
she really can. But do criminals, if they like work with the detectives or whatever, do they get off scot-free like Ivy's saying?
I guess it depends. Like I only know from what I've seen in TV and movies, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
usually it would be for like a very reduced sentence. But you know,
I was like, there's
for
not
rich and
pressing
white
charges.
people, like
I don't know.
for rich and white
Yeah.
people, they can probably there's different rules for them. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, so Ivy comes out of the woodwork. She reveals that she's already given her statement. In exchange for ratting out Carol, she's getting off scot-free. Great deal, as we just flagged up. And
Yeah.
and like you said, Bren, I love that Lily is now working with Ivy instead of against her. Like, she has finally realized who the true villain is in all of this. I was giving a standing ovation when I was watching in my living room. I stood up and I just applauded.
Yeah. What is your mastermind? And she is only using Ivy because she can use her right now. It's not that she's like, forgiven her or anything like that. But it's
No.
she's
No,
important to the
definitely
plan.
has not.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Lily hilariously peeks over to see what David's writing in his little journal. She's like,
Oh yeah, keep it up. Looks good.
good stuff. So Lola argues with Lily in the living room. She's like, this is not only hurting my mom, it's hurting me too. And Lily's like, your mom deserves to be punished for what she did. Who cares if she goes to jail? We should have done this months ago. Carol still hasn't been brought away yet. She comes back. She's like, listen, you're just doing this because I slept with your husband 2 decades ago, which probably true, but also that is
Like,
fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
I know, and she thinks she's like really got her with that line. I was like, you didn't
okay.
do anything
No.
with that.
And Carol did
Like,
do those things. Like what she's being charged with is like valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she claims she never would have been with William in the first place if he was happy with Lily. The cops really giving her a lot of time to rant before she has to leave.
As if they really didn't know that though. Like they got
Yes.
divorced anyway. They got divorced regardless of this cheating scandal. So like,
Yeah.
I'm over my ex-husband. I've had 7 since.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
Yes.
7 cents.
Yeah.
Lily gives the cop a tip. She's like, here's a tip. Put Carol in solitary if you want things to run smoothly. Such a badass.
Good shit.
And
So
so-
funny.
Lola tells Lily that her mom may have been right keeping her from Lily all these years because the truth hasn't helped anyone, and she storms off. William tries to stop her. He's like, I didn't mean for this to happen. And now Serena's pissed, and she sarcastically asks him if she's going to walk Lola down the aisle next. She's like, I had to fucking steal a horse and you wouldn't even talk to me, and now you're just besties with Lola?
Yeah, I
Fuck
didn't really
you.
like fully get the walk her down the aisle thing because like it's not like she's getting married anytime soon. Like I understand what
No,
she means.
yeah.
Like,
I think
could have used a better pull.
Well, see, it was
I
spur of the
I
moment.
know. And I think it's like the like a dad daughter, like
Yeah.
Right,
moment that she's trying to throw in his face.
something relevant to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, what a dinner. One of the iconic dinners of Gossip Girl, I must
Yeah.
say. And
Mm-hmm.
Blair is chasing Dan down the stairs. Dan asks Blair if she really felt the need to steal the spotlight from him because he was above her on the back of a magazine. Like,
Yes,
Dan
I
knows
did.
exactly what this is
Yeah.
about.
He knows right away.
Blair's like, that's ridiculous. But Dan knows better, and he calls this an overreaction because none of that stuff means anything to him. But it does mean something to Blair. She doesn't want to
I
live in someone else's
know.
shadow anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who would let Blair have all the spotlight she needs and deserves at this moment? Chuck.
Chuck Bass. Yeah.
He would.
Yeah, this is like tough because I'm like, okay, you're just invalidating how she feels. Yeah, it means nothing to you, but it means something
Right.
to her. And like, also, I feel like you care a little bit because you read it, like because she didn't bring it up to him, like he brings it up to
Right.
her.
You
So I'm
saw
like,
it and you
You'd
liked
seen
it.
it.
yeah,
I
it's
saw
like
it.
you must have been looking. Like,
Well, maybe Dorota had drawn Dan a bath and was reading it to him.
Yeah, that's probably how he
Oh,
saw it.
Lonely Boy is highbrow and brilliant.
Yeah.
Blair is sick of being behind the scenes in the relationship, and Dan's like, "No, I love our relationship because we're equals." But that is not how Blair feels, and it's not how other people view her. I get Blair's insecurities. Like, did she go about this in the
Yeah.
right way? I think even Blair would agree that it's not the right way, but
Right.
it is Blair's way, and that's what Dan was getting himself into when he pursued this relationship with Blair.
Right. And like,
Yeah.
this doesn't
Blair
even help
is.
at all because he's now like in a way pitying her and she wants to be
Yeah,
on
he's
top
like,
of
"We're
you.
equal. We're equals."
She's like, I don't want to be
Yeah.
equals. I want to be better than you.
Yeah.
yeah, and like just because you state that there's like that you're equals doesn't mean there's not like implicit power dynamics that
Right.
you're
Right.
just missing.
So Dan suggests that Blair has lost sight of who she is, but this has always been Blair. Like, Blair is back. She has found
This
who
is what
she
is.
is.
Yeah. She just did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that pissed me off too. I'm like, you don't know her because this
You
is the
don't.
real Blair. W
It is.
Magazine Blair was fake. Like,
That's why I don't like when she comes back later and is like, "You were right. I'm sorry. I want to know the real
Yeah.
Blair too." Like, no,
I
you
guess
were right.
The only way I could see this making some sort of sense is because she's really got nothing going on at the moment. Like she was so wrapped up in like getting married and stuff that now she doesn't have anything as far as like hobbies or job or school because she doesn't do any of those things anymore. She just like
Right.
is Stan's girlfriend, which is also like not a good
Girlfriend,
identity
yeah.
for her at the moment either.
yeah.
Absolutely. So Nate and Diana post coitus. Nate is just doing what Nate does best. He's getting out of any jam possible by just throwing
his
it
way to
around.
the top.
Leaving.
Yeah, fucking his way to the
Yeah.
And so Diana asks if it's safe to assume that Nate wants to resume their relationship again, and Nate's like, let's go down, let's get some drinks
Did not say
downstairs
yes.
together and explore the options. And then Diana exits, and Nate like sits back for a second with his hands behind his back as if to say like, "All in a night's work." But he does that for 1 second before springing up and getting his clothes on. He lies to Diana that he just got a text from Chuck wondering where he is. So he grabs Diana's planner or whatever it is and tells her that he's going to take a rain check on the drink and he'll see her in the office. And Diana tries to tell him to wait, but he sprints out of there.
Yeah.
I didn't even think he'd put his shoes on.
No, he hadn't even zipped up his pants.
He hadn't even like fully buttoned his shirt.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't waste any time because he had nowhere to hide that book. So he
Right.
was like,
He
get
got
out
it
of
out of
there.
the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Well, he did like kind of look like he was gonna like stuff it down his pants or like button it up in his shirt, and then he was like, "I just gotta go. I gotta go."
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Papa Billy catches up to Serena on the sidewalk. He apologizes for not being truthful with her and for cheating on her mother all those years ago. And Serena's like, I don't give a shit about that last part. I just care that you lied to me to protect Lola. And again, poor baby Serena is upset that Lola's the favorite child now. And she starts crying, and she tells William that he left her when she was 4 years old, and when she tracked him down, he wouldn't even see her, which are valid gripes. And she's like, all I ever wanted was my whole life was a father, and all you ever did was avoid me. And then now when you find out about Lola, you rush to be by her side, which, again, Serena making some good points here. I really think it's all in the delivery. Like, Serena would usually say this in a mumbly, stuck-up, whiny way, but the way she's delivering it here, she's, like, crying, and you can tell she's clearly hurt. So I think,
Yeah.
I feel bad for her in this scene.
Yeah,
Totally. And like she was sent off to boarding school and stuff like that. Like the parent abandonment.
Badminton.
Thank you.
Badminton.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Issues are like, like clearly
They're there, yeah,
rearing
real.
their ugly head. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like how she uses this and like hates Lola for it later, but
Yeah.
right now it's fair.
Because it's not Lola's fault.
Yeah.
It's Williams and Carol's, but or Lily's, I guess. I don't know.
Everybody in the mix.
Everybody.
when I decided not to do sports my senior year of high school, you could call that a badminton abandonment.
Did you not do it? You did it in senior year, didn't you?
No, I did it. I did it sophomore and junior year.
Oh, that really is a
I didn't do
badminton
sports.
abandonment.
Badminton abandonment. A badminton abandonment. Does Bart pass like Baja Blast? Going in the vocal warm-ups.
Perfect.
Rufus returns to the penthouse. Lily's surprised to see him, but Rufus is in no mood for pleasantries. He's like, don't get up. I won't be long. Apparently you did have a dinner tonight, or so I read from a news feed about your sister getting
Which
arrested.
she knew he would say or something.
But, yeah, that was her one flaw in her plan, is that she had the diarist there and then she
I
didn't
don't
think
think she
that
gave a
Rufus
shit,
would
though.
look.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. I was like, how did she plan on getting away with this? Obviously, Rufus would see, but I was like, then I was like, she doesn't give a shit about, like, her whole plan with Rufus is just like, no matter what I do to him, he will come back to me eventually. So I can do whatever I want. He can find out, like, whatever, and then eventually he will be back
Right, I'll
because
fix it later.
where's he gonna find another rich woman to take care of him?
He's useless without my money.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Lily just calmly responds that Carol hurt this family too badly to just get away with it. And so Rufus tells Lily she sounds just like her mother. And a few years ago, these would have been fighting words. But today, Lily takes this as a compliment. Her
Yeah.
mother would have done anything to preserve the family name.
This is some crazy, like, mega evolution that's happened here. Like, it really would have been fighting words in the past, and now she's just like, you know what? I got to take the helm now.
Love it.
And she also
Yeah.
like disguising family values. She's talking about money when she's like, "Oh, Carol almost ruined the family." Like she almost just like took some of your money, which you think is what family is.
That's what the family is. Yes, the
Yeah,
family is the
family
money
is
that
the
we
money.
have.
Mhm.
Yes. So this is when Rufus calls her out for paying off the nurse to testify against Ivy, and it's like a really big crime, isn't it?
Yeah. Call those cops
Perjure
back.
themselves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That would have been
not
quite
our
the
first.
twist.
Not our first.
Yeah, no. So Rufus thought they grew together, but if this is who Lily wants to be, then Rufus doesn't want anything to do with it. And Lily asks Rufus if he's saying he wants a divorce, and then that's when she expertly pulls out the ace from up her sleeve. She's like, "Where exactly are you going to find some other Upper East Side woman to take care of you the way I have?" Which, what a wild thing to say in the moment.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question.
She called him out like
Lily,
bullseye.
because like you were saying, Rufus likes her for her. Probably not so much in this moment, but
Yeah.
Lily still does not seem to grasp what a marriage is. Like even on her 5th try.
Yeah.
Although I
yeah,
guess this is probably
Yeah.
what her first 4 marriages were more like. I guess.
right. This has been the most real one, and she's like, "Wait a second, I'm not supposed to
Exactly.
like enjoy this person.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to just
Yeah.
have them."
And Rufus
At this
says-
point, she just doesn't know how to be
They're
in a
supposed to fear me.
relationship. Yeah.
Yes. And so Rufus responds, spoken like a true Rhodes. And Lily has just made Rufus's decision to spend time apart that much easier. So Rufus thanks her. And Brendan, what do you think? Are they getting a divorce?
I don't know. They might be. It doesn't sound good. I thought maybe we're going straight for divorce, and then the fact that Rufus said, let's just take some time off," to me is like, oh, okay. Well, there's spineless Rufus again. Like, this really should have been like the final show. Like, to me, if I were Rufus, the woman that you love, it seems like she's not in there anymore. So I would
I'll think it over.
I've given up.
I'll have my bottle of champagne and I'll get back to you.
warm bottle of champagne in a tall glass. So I think they'll probably they'll tease at divorce more, but I think they're gonna end up together.
You're getting a divorce. Like that.
Who is this? Is this you to your parents as a kid?
That was teasing. So, that was me to my parents.
Teasing.
Tease them for getting divorced. So Nate and Chuck says he's deleted some disturbing images of his mom out of his mind. I can't believe only Chuck would say they would say that. He's going to attempt a relationship with her, but Nate, not that kind of relationship, Brendan. But Nate tells Chuck before they start bonding.
Binding. Oh my god.
Before they start bonding.
Before they start bondage.
Before we start bondage, you might want to see something. And Nate hands Chuck his phone to reveal an email from Elizabeth Fischler herself. "I'm tired of all the lies. Hope this is the proof you need, Elizabeth." And there is a picture of a very pregnant Elizabeth, and the date is right before Chuck was born. I mean, or so Chuck thinks. Like, his birthday could also be a lie. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's seen his
At this
birthday.
point, yeah, I wouldn't
don't
believe
know.
anything anyone told me about
Everything could be a
myself.
lie. Yeah.
Yeah.
She could also be pregnant with anyone, but I guess the smoking gun is that Diana said that Elizabeth couldn't get pregnant, and here she is, very pregnant, right before Chuck was born. So Nate has it figured all out. He knows that Diana lied, and he thinks that Jack put her up to it, which confuses Chuck because what does Jack have to do with this? But it turns out that Jack is the one funding Diana, so he could have paid her to tell Chuck whatever he wanted to hear. And Chuck's starting to put some pieces together, but he still can't figure out if Elizabeth is really if Elizabeth is really his mother. Then why would she lie about being the donor? Which is a good question, one that they don't answer, and it's still not adding up.
Yeah, and he literally looks at this photoshopped photo, and he's like, "This actually solves everything." Like, it was the worst fake photo I have ever seen in my life. It looked like they really just like, it was very Kate Middleton. Like they just threw
Very topical.
seven images together.
And
They're
Andrew
like,
Tyler just on AI typing in like Elizabeth Fisher very pregnant.
it was Andrew. It was literally Andrew. Yeah.
Andrew has been experimenting with Photoshop recently.
Yeah.
An amateur photographer.
He's
Yeah.
a photographer. So, Blair enters the loft. Dan's sitting alone reading, and Blair admits to Dan that he was right. The problem wasn't Dan's success; it was her. I'm screaming, "No, Blair! Don't do this! I don't care how in the wrong you are, Blair. Don't give Dan the satisfaction of being right here."
The only reason it doesn't make me too mad is because Dan was never angry with her, because on
That's
some
true.
level he
wasn't very patient.
appreciate her for who she is.
He gets it.
Yeah.
He welcomes her back with open arms. She explains that somewhere between getting sold for a hotel and selling out for a tiara, I lost my true self. Always appreciate a hotel reference. So Blair wants to be found, and Dan thinks the real Blair Waldorf is closer than she thinks. It wasn't that long ago they were working side by side at W, and I was like, those were the days. I can't believe I was getting nostalgic for season 4. I was like, remember season 4 when things were more fun?
Mm-hmm. I did like that.
Yeah.
Started their friendship.
Apparently that's when Dan fell for her. And he says that girl is fiercely strong, independent, outspoken, beautiful, capable of anything, and no man or magazine would be able to take that away from her. And so Blair thinks she sounds great, and she looks forward to meeting her again. And that's fine, but I just don't like that Dan won here. I just want, much like Lily does with Rufus, I just wanted Blair to be like, you know what? I don't owe you an apology.
Well,
you owe me an
she hasn't
apology.
evolved into Lily yet. She's on her way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She needs to. She's coming up next. So Carol is in the slammer, and William is visiting her in what looks like an interrogation room, or maybe this is just like the visitor's room. I don't know where they are, but Carol can't believe Lily did this to her, and neither can William. And he tells her that, like, Carol, you need to shut the fuck up and start doing what's best for your daughter. And with Carol under arrest, it's going to be hard to access her money. So that's very true. And that's when I was like, maybe this was Lily's plan all along. Get Carol sent to jail. And turns out, William is giving Carol his word that if she signs over power of attorney to him, he'll take care of Lola and get Carol the best damn lawyer her inheritance can buy. And Carol realizes that William actually cares about Lola, and someone should. It seems like no one else does. But also,
Poor girl.
yeah. William is like, I just want to do the right thing for once, or so he claims.
I still don't think anyone really does care about poor Lola.
No, maybe I don't think so. Unfortunately, and Carol signs over the power of attorney to William, which I don't know exactly what this entails, but we are going to find out that it's good news. Good news for Lily.
Right. I guess
Yeah,
he's able
I
to
do
have access to the
think-
funds somehow.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think that this was Lily's plan, because then when she calls him, she's like, okay, now it's your turn to, give them
Incredible.
to me.
Just when you think there couldn't be more layers to this plan.
Still in motion.
But first,
Yeah.
Lily is giving Ivy a check for $1 million, and she tells her she did the right thing. I agree. Selling out Carol for $1 million, that's always the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, she acknowledges that Carol should have never put Ivy in this position, and like, oh wow, well, Lily's being so civil towards Ivy now that she has her house and her money and her dominance over Ivy back, and Ivy, like, being the good guy plays into her narrative now.
Yeah. It's so funny how
She's like, Ivy, you were the victim all along, Ivy. How could I be so silly? Here's
But
$1 million.
and it still doesn't feel like that way. Like when she tells her to leave,
no.
she's like, "This
Well,
is purely like political right now."
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Because Ivy's like, listen, I'm not like Carol. I came to New York because she paid me, but once I met you, Lily, the only thing that mattered to her was feeling like a part of the family. And Lily's just like, yep, well, there's nothing to be
move
done
along.
about that. Nothing to be done about that, is there?
I love the scene because it makes me feel so sad for Ivy because this is like her last plea. Like she's been saying this for so long now and is like been begging them to believe her. And I thought there's like a small chance that she would have like Lily would have listened and been like, all right, maybe we can like grab lunch sometime and see if like this whole thing can work. But like she doubles down on the cold villain and is like, get the fuck out of my house.
I was half expecting Lily to like reach over her head and pull down like a lever that opens a trap door.
Truly.
Very Grinch moment.
Ivy did shock me when she was like, I'll tear up the check for a place back in your heart, Lily. Like, I don't know why it shocked me because she's been very transparent about that being all she cares about, but she also does need money, and $1 million can go pretty far for Ivy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Liz
and
didn't realize
also,
that she doesn't cash the check. So
yeah. And I just think like at this point, do you want to be a part of this family? Like the mom figure just called the cops on her sister.
Yeah.
Like, she still does.
She remembers the good times, but
not good enough.
No.
Yeah. A pretty dumb move by Ivy though, because even if Lily did agree to this, like she would never truly see Ivy as someone worthy of her time or respect ever again. Like, oh, you're not family, you're not rich. I don't care about you.
She just sees she sees Rufus as a leech. She's gonna see Ivy as a leech too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Lily just grabs Ivy's hand and tells her goodbye, which gutted. Don't do my girl Ivy like that. That was so sad for Ivy. And so Ivy gets on the elevator and she rips up the check anyway. Why would she do that? Like, I've done things I regret when I'm upset too. I don't know if Ivy will ever get over this one. Like, literally the next time she needs to buy anything, she's gonna be like, "What the fuck is wrong?"
Because it's not gonna be like Lily's like, "Oh, so you didn't? I guess you mean it. You didn't cash that check. We could be family now." That's not gonna happen. So you just lost $1 million for no reason.
That was so bad.
Truly.
Such a bad move.
It was so bad. I was screaming at my TV.
That's $1 million she just tore up there.
Yeah.
Where's she gonna go now? Gonna go live back on the streets again?
She's gonna, I don't know, be an actress for hire.
Yeah.
Within rich families.
That's a good idea. Put out a Craigslist ad. Do you need me to fool your family? I can pretend to be a long lost cousin. I specialize in long lost cousins. I have references. You can talk to Lily. So Lily answers the phone. William did what he asked. He's going to sign Carol's half of the estate over to Lily when he gets back to the apartment, which, oh my God, Lily has everyone working for her. She is wheeling and dealing, baby. She thanks William. She says they both know that Carol does not deserve the money, and him getting it away from her is the least he can do after what Lily found out today. And I love it. But Lily's just deciding who deserves what and using William's guilt against him. I've said this before, but Lily would do great on Survivor besides the social game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would never want to play like a board game with Lily ever.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like she could fake the social game.
Yeah, she can be warm.
Yeah,
she can be. Yeah. So Willie asks if Lily is going to take care of Lola, since that was their deal.
Out. Now I see why it all didn't work.
And Lily asks what kind of monster he thinks she is. She's like, "You think just because she's a product of your extramarital affair that I would punish Lola?" And I'm like, I wouldn't rule out that possibility.
She says this like so menacingly too. I was afraid.
And Lily says she wouldn't do that, but William straight up says he doesn't believe her. And then Lily just abruptly ends the conversation. And then William tells his driver to change course and take him to JFK, which I wasn't sure what we're meant to get from this, but then on rewatch, I guess because he originally says he's going to come to the apartment to sign over the estate to Lily, and now I guess he's going to JFK. So I guess he's not.
He's leaving.
Which does go against my narrative that Lily really got everything done here, because I guess there was that one final part she couldn't just wait for William to get to the apartment before she was like, "I hate your daughter."
Right.
Yeah.
And I think she might have even been trying to like play it cool there, but she just she let it slip.
She couldn't. Yeah.
So Lola pays Serena a visit, and Serena's in great form again. Serena just gives her a very cold, "What do you want?" And Lola's saying cheerfully, she's like, "I know we've had our up or downs, mostly downs, ha ha ha, but we're sisters now." And Serena just goes, "Half. What's your point?"
Sister, yeah.
Love the energy.
Serena, remember when you were begging Lola to just give you the time of day?
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Lola doesn't know much about being siblings, but she thinks that uniting against parents is a pretty major bonding experience. So she's like, the best way to get back at your mom will be to help get my mom out of jail. And Serena's just a little too cocky now. She's like, you never really stood a chance of exposing me as Gossip Girl, and I'm not really interested in being your sister. Still loving the energy, but I don't know why she thinks Lola can't expose her. Like, even without finding the cold hard evidence that she finds, she probably could have exposed her.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, okay, well, I'll be taking this, and I'll see you around.
Yeah.
But first, Serena's like, okay, sis, I'll show you out. Which, oof, man.
Oh, I love that, though. I love that I'll show you out moment.
I love it.
Truly.
I do. And so before Lola leaves, she notices the note that Georgina wrote to Serena, crowning her as the new Gossip Girl. And again, Serena being very cocky for someone just leaving around hard evidence in plain sight.
Yeah.
It's Diana Payne all over again. Like,
It really is.
if you're doing a grift, like, you gotta hide the evidence. I have no idea why they're not burning these things.
No one learns. No one ever learns.
The only reason why you should
Lola-
leave evidence like this out is if it's a part of your plan for someone to find it.
Exactly.
She does need it for the long, confusing password that's on it, but she should have just changed the password to Gossip Girl, because we see that when Lola takes this without Serena noticing, we see that if anyone wants to break into Gossip Girl, the username at this moment is Svetlana Sparks, and the password is 92LM30X5ABW715Q.
That's a tough one.
There you go.
It's tough to remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lola obviously pockets this very useful information. And our final scene here is Nate asks Chuck if he's okay. And Chuck has realized that the only thing Diana and Elizabeth have in common is Uncle Jack. And he tells Nate to take a look at the photo again. See the tattoo on that guy's arm? Chuck knows that tattoo. Hands Nate another picture and explains that the man in that photo is not his dad, it's Jack. And the other photo that Chuck shows Nate is just like a picture of Chuck and Jack smiling, which is odd.
Again, it was just like green screened. The most generic beat shot.
Who was taking that picture?
It looked like Chuck didn't look that young either, so it looked like they went on just like a nice family vacation together.
Like recently, I know. It was literally this. I was shocked they weren't holding two fish. Like,
it's crazy.
oh my god.
So Jack does have the same arm tattoo in that picture, and so Chuck has a theory. What if all this subterfuge over my mother's identity was actually disguising the real question? It's not who's my mom. It's who's my dad. Nate, I think Jack Bass is my father. Let's just sit in that for a second. What? Jack is Chuck's dad now? We've now had two red herrings as to who Chuck's mom could be, only to revert to the original option, but now Jack is his dad. What?
Yeah.
I don't know. And this would have been more interesting if this was like the plot in season
How old
3.
is Jack?
10 years older than Chuck, maybe. But like, it's interesting to like reveal that someone that we've known for a long time that's like maybe a side character is Chuck's family member or father rather. But like the Elizabeth stuff was never interesting because it was someone we were just introduced to for that reason. We never had a chance to really care about her.
True.
But like, okay, this would have been great 2 seasons ago, but now the snip snap has lost me. And this is just like like I laughed when they said this out loud. It's funny.
Yes. No, me too. But it's so CW. Like, do either of you watch other CW shows?
I don't know. I don't
Gilmore
think so
Girls,
for the most
I
part.
guess.
Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. Because like this is just so like you got to drop another like parent storyline like this.
Yeah, I guess Gilmore Girls
in season 5
isn't soapy enough for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But like the Vampire Diaries or the 90210
I gotta watch
reboot,
I gotta watch
like
the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
It's a big commitment though. There's like 9 seasons of that show.
Yeah.
Now I get the logic. Like, okay, he has the same tattoo as the man in that picture. I get, okay, maybe the man in the picture is your dad. They have the same. That makes sense. But I don't get the pieces here. Like, why would his mom's lying to his multiple potential fake moms, lying to him and doing subterfuge, like, have anything to do with that? Like, what does the mom stuff have to do with the dad stuff? And then, who gave him blood? And why are they lying about it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it was almost confirmed that Jack couldn't have given him blood.
It's confirmed that it couldn't have been Jack.
Yes.
He is Hep C, as we all know.
Yeah.
It's a little messy.
It doesn't make sense, but that is our cliffhanger, and that's our episode. Brendan, is Jack Chuck's dad?
If I know anything about the show, he is for a couple episodes, and then he's not.
For an episode, maybe.
So I'll say
That
no.
is the correct answer, yeah.
So what happens next, Brendan? Any predictions?
Diana Payne is now Chuck's sister.
Diana Payne. If Jack is somehow also Diana Payne's mom, dad, sorry.
That would be interesting too.
This is getting incredible. All right, let's get into our segments. Let's start with my favorite segment, user review of the week. I pulled it from the Gossip Girl wiki again, and a fandom user on April 22nd, 2012 said, "Seriously, guys," in all caps with 2 exclamation points, "I absolutely can't stand Dare. They make me want to cry tears of hate. Hashtag things better than Dare." We start implementing that
Hashtag things better than Dare. I like that.
Things. They didn't name anything better than Dare. They just used the hashtag.
Hey, you could start it up.
Also, wow, crying tears of hate. That's
Yeah.
I
I
feel like
don't think I've ever done that, but yeah. Not an emotion, I feel, I guess.
Next week, the episode is called Raiders of the Lost Art. Brendan, do you have any predictions based on the episode title?
I predict that I will get their title correct, hopefully. We're kind of right there for you. No, it doesn't give me any clues.
So the preview says Chuck, Nate, Blair, Serena, and Lola.
Our characters in this television show.
Team up. Hell yeah.
Whoa,
We know,
I
we
love
love
those.
when we get the non-judgmental Breakfast Club together.
Hell
and
yeah.
they're going to have Lola as a 5th in this one, I guess.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. And we have a great guest.
It sounds like Georgina should be there too somewhere.
I think Kirsten claimed this episode in season 1. She was like, just to let you guys know, there's no Thanksgiving episode in season 5, but I want this episode. I was like, okay.
That's
All right.
true.
Called her shot early. Let's get into some episode grades. Brendan, you went first last week. I will go first this week. And this was a good episode. I can't believe it. The best episode since Louis left the show, which is weird because you'd think Louis leaving would make the show better, but somehow all the episodes have been trash since then. But Gossip Girl is back, baby. The main plot line of Lily and the dinner was incredible. The chaos of the dinner was set up perfectly with, Serena finding out about Lola and her dad and then relaying that information to Lily. I love a Lily and Ivy team up. And I just loved watching everything play out. The Blair and Dan plotline was great too. Like Blair also being back to old form was so funny, and her completely taking over Dan's big event, like just because was so fun to watch. The only thing I don't like is how the storyline ended with Blair pretty much telling Dan that he was right. Like Lily got that part right. She doesn't go back to Rufus and say that he was right all along. So Lily gets points for the ending with Rufus as well. So the ending of the Blair Dan storyline and the Nate Chuck Diana storyline are the only things keeping this out of an A range for me. Like. The Nate, Chuck, and Diana plot it had some funny moments. Like Nate being a detective, Nate spilling secrets, Nate having sex to get him out of a jam, and then sprinting out of the room. Anything Nate related was funny, but the twist ending is just so nonsensical and stupid that I'm gonna bump it down to a B+. So I'm giving it a B+. Brendan, what do you grade the episode?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I even, from what you said, I might like it even more just because I didn't really mind anything except for the Chuck, Dan, and Nate stuff. Everything else was fine. I fully enjoyed Blair and Dan all the way through, even to where it ended. I was fine with. It was a lot of fun. It was some kind of fun we haven't had in seemingly a long time, and usually it's the parents that bring it down, and they're part of the fun. So
true.
Yeah. So I'll land in a B+ range at this. It doesn't deserve A- range. It's kind of crazy for a season 5 episode. It's got to be. It's not a classic. So B+
Right.
is fine.
All right, Torry, what do you grade the episode?
Yeah, I'd give it a solid B. I totally agree that like Lily's hijinks perfectly set up for a teen dramedy. And then you're right, the parents do usually ruin this TV show. It's like, can we stick to them as like B plots? But I really liked that, and I liked the himbo scenes. I liked Serena not being like her I gotta go self, and but yeah, it's no Thanksgiving episode or anything like
unfortunately,
that. So,
not quite the golden age, but a B, very respectable. A despicable B, even as the episode. Me and Brendan gave it a despicable B+.
Yeah.
Nice.
So MVP. For me, Queen Lily is back, and this is the Queen's episode. I was critical of her in the first half, but once she orchestrates and executes the plan so flawlessly, how could it go any other way? She sets up Carol at dinner, and she is so funny during that scene. And then, it doesn't end up, I guess we will see what happens with the money, but she does get William to agree at first to sign over the rest of her mother's estate to her. So we'll see once William doesn't show up, we'll see how Lily handles that. But Lily, for the most part, just kept winning all episode long. She may be losing Rufus, but I don't think she even cares. So neither do I. Queen Lily, this is how you win an MVP.
Oh yeah.
Brendan, who's your MVP?
I mean, it'd be crazy if you gave her an MVP and I didn't. It's my girl Lily. She's my favorite character, and maybe she's like losing the charisma a little bit for me, just because I know she is like full on evil now. But we love a mean girl. Makes her maybe a little bit hotter to me even. It's great stuff. She is truly the Dumbledore of the Upper East Side, like you've been saying. So,
Oh yes, as
way to go.
we always say. All right, 2 MVPs for Lily. Tori, who's your MVP?
Since I feel like I can't give it to Lily, I'm going to give it to Andrew because,
Yes.
Hey.
yeah, like tried and
LT.
true. He did his job, got the info, got the dirt, found the pictures, killed it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mel will be pretty
I
happy.
got paid again.
I'm certain. I can't say this with certainty without looking at my notes, but I'm sure that Mel is probably the only person who has given Andrew Tyler an MVP up to this point. So
Very exciting.
joining good company here. Yeah. So LVPs. I am actually going to give this to Ivy solely for that scene at the end. She resorts to like begging Lily for the one thing that she so desperately wants, to be part of the family, and Lily does not even give her the time of day. But she does give her a check for $1 million, and I will never get over Ivy ripping it up. She essentially just lost her family and $1 million, so she's the big LVP loser of the episode.
Yeah.
Hard to come back from that. And then who's your LVP?
I'll give the LVP to her fake mother, Carol. Maybe even a bigger financial hole, because she just lost half of an entire multi-billion-dollar estate and is now in jail.
Yeah.
That's true.
She's a big loser, and she still can't close her mouth when she's not talking. So
Yeah.
Tori, who's your LVP?
God, those are really hard to beat. I was gonna give it to Diana, but she did get to fuck Nate in this episode. Could not be the LVP. I don't know, maybe Rufus. Like, it's like he's doing scenes by himself, hasn't left his Brooklyn apartment for weeks at this point, and he has a wife that doesn't care if he lives or dies. So
we're down for Rufus LVP anytime.
Who asked him if he wanted, if he was suggesting a divorce, probably hoping he would say yes.
Literally.
Some great options for LVPs there. So that's all of our segments, except of course for everyone's favorite segment, Lonely Boys Theater. And for this one, we've heard the comments. Last week's scene, or the OC scene, was too long. We have a nice short scene, just 5 lines here with.
Well, you're also like forgetting to say who said that though, of all people.
Matt Lagori, of course. Everything is too long for Matt Lagori. Listen, why
don't you read on fucking 2X?
So it is the scene with Lola, Carol, and Lily right after the dinner time madness. Who wants to be who? Tori, you're our guest. Who would you like to portray, Lola, Lily, or Carol?
I think I'm gonna go Lola.
All right.
Okay.
So Brendan, do you want to be your girl, Lily?
Yeah, just please don't make me be Carol.
Yeah, and I will be the girl you hate, Carol. Does everyone have their script in front of them?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So whenever you're ready, Lola, take it away.
Okay. You realize this isn't just hurting my mom; it's hurting me too.
Your mother deserves to be punished. She's defrauded all of us, and we should have done this months ago.
You know, don't listen. Get off of me, officers. I have something to say. You don't listen to her, Lola. This has nothing to do with fraud. This is all because I slept with her husband 2 decades ago. But here's the thing, Lily. I never would have been with William in the first place if he were happy with you. Gotcha.
Got me. One tip. If you want things to go smoothly in jail, put her in solitary.
You know, maybe my mom was right keeping me from you all these years because the truth hasn't helped anybody.
Sure enough for you guys. That's the part you're talking about.
At least I still have half of the estate. No one can ever take that away from me.
Except for William.
Wow, what a scene. Even Matt Lagori is giving us an ovation for how short we kept that. So that does it. The only thing we have left is some plugs. But before we get to that, Tori, thank you so much. We met you today, and what a great meeting it was. You were so fun to have on the podcast.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you'd like to plug at this hour?
Yeah, so I host Ready to be Petty, a pop culture, reality TV, and celebrity gossip podcast. You can find it wherever you find The Lonely Boys. And I also host a romance novel review podcast, Ready to be Romance. So you can find me on socials at RTBP Podcast. and at Ready to Be Romanced. And you can find my podcast wherever you find podcasts.
Very good.
Yes, everything
Hell
check. Everyone check that out. If you loved her on this episode, you'll love her on her own podcast. So everyone,
Thank you.
give her a subscribe there. Brendan, what are you plugging?
As you know, it's Malt Madness season. By now, you must have seen or heard Gagan's episode covering all the non-alcoholics of the March Madness bracket. It was a smash, as always. People seem to be loving the YouTube of it all. That was a lot of fun to see Brian in the room with us. He was there and not in Virginia.
Is he in the room with us?
In the situation there.
So please go watch on. You can go look up Boys Media or just type in Hoppy Boys on YouTube, or you can listen to it, and it's also fine for your ear holes as well. But yeah, keep listening all month long. He'll be back. This guy that you love here for the finale.
That's right.
That will, I guess it'll come out. Let me check the calendar here. It'll probably be coming out in April, I guess. So April 4th, he'll be back for that one. So check that out.
Yeah, the March Madness Championship in basketball also takes place in April too. So don't.
Yeah, I almost feel like most of it happens in April. March Madness.
Not most of it, just the last.
It feels
two
like
rounds.
it. The important stuff happens. So check all that out, and you can listen to our sister show, The Sandy Boys, where we cover all things OC, and that's on patreon.com/boysmedia.
All right, I've got nothing much to plug. I'll plug Mom Jeans. We're seeing them this weekend.
Very excited.
By the time they hear this, we'll have already seen them. Yeah, a great band. Been really getting into their. Been listening to their latest album, which is just songs they've already.
I know. I've been really getting
recorded.
into that one too. Like when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, I wish this was new stuff." But it's like a bunch of really fun versions of those songs. Some of them I like better.
I like it. Reddit does not like it, but I do.
I love it. It's so good. Good collection of things.
Reddit doesn't like a lot of things.
Reddit doesn't like anything.
Fair
Don't worry.
Mom Jeans, you're doing fine. Reddit's are a bunch of haters.
No.
But yeah, so check them out. You can follow me on Twitter at MattyFresh24. You can follow Brendan at Ruppy Puppy. You can follow his other podcast, The Hoppy Boys, at The Hoppy Boys Pod. And you can come back next week where we'll be breaking down Season 5, Episode 22. Man, I forgot what the title... Oh, Raiders of the Lost Art, with, of course, one of everyone's favorite guests, Kirsten McKinney. Does that make sense grammatically? Who cares? She'll be here next week. But until then, you know you love us. XOXO. Lonely Boys.
Bye-bye.
Stay lonely.